for the 2026 NHL Draft Day 2, rounds 2 through 3, presented by Prize Picks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it, shall we? Rise and shine. If you guys are coming in from yesterday's live stream and yesterday's video, just put out, basically right at midnight, my grades for every single pick in the first round. So today's stream, it's going to be a bit more chill as I try to rest my voice because we got a couple more videos in the pipeline for later today, grading every team's draft as well as the steals of the draft coming in later. But if you guys are just dropping by, say hello. We're going to be recapping all of round 2 and 3. And as we typically see, it is pretty intriguing because we did see a few trades during round 1 of this year's draft, but usually there's more trades on day 2. So I'm curious, do we have more in the pipeline trade-wise today? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? We got 100 people already in the stream. Thank you guys so much for dropping by. We're going to have a good time this morning as we go through the first couple rounds, which will probably take about 15 hours, if I'm willing to bet. Probably not, but one can hope. After yesterday, one can hope. We can go a little bit shorter than that. Thoughts on Liam Ruck going to Pittsburgh? I think it was okay. I think he fit kind of what the Penguins have drafted in the past. High IQ player. But I do think there's a bit of a limit in terms of the pace of his game at 5-on-5. Physicality is pretty non-existent. It's just a matter of what role is he going to play in the NHL. That's always been my question. But I think for the Penguins, as a kind of support third-line piece, I could see that, honestly. But yeah, we're about 10 minutes away from the first pick on the clock. 33rd overall with the Vancouver Canucks. Let me try to pull up the draft order here, folks. Because, yeah, we're starting with Vancouver at number pick 33. And then afterwards, we go to Chicago, New Jersey. Yeah, so in terms of the second round, we got Vancouver, then Chicago, then New Jersey, then Calgary, Chicago again, Seattle, Pittsburgh, and Florida with that 33 to 40 range. Now, let me know in the chat, who do you guys think Vancouver's actually going to go for? Because it feels like now the Ruck dream is over for them. I feel like Preston just makes so much sense. Just so much sense, especially since you could load up on the forward group with this draft. But again, they've kind of loaded up already on the forward side. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like a Maxim Sokolovsky. No, sorry. Not Maxim Sokolovsky. Nikita Sherbakov as another Russian D. But I'd be curious if Vancouver actually went for him. He's kind of like a... If I'm trying to make a comparable, he's pretty like Nikita Zadorov likes. And obviously they had interest in him in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised at number 33, but I feel like they should go for a swing here, man. Go for Mathis Preston. Go for somebody interesting here. Though, I could see like a Pantelis. I could see a Brett Glisky as high as this out of the WHL. So a few interesting options here for the Canucks at 33. They still have some good talent on the board. That is for sure. Now, somebody asked earlier on Twitter who my best players still available are. And for me personally, I'll go through like the first 5 guys that are still on my board that are still available for round 2. First, Xavier Villeneuve at 13. I'm not surprised he's here on day 2. That was all of the talk around the town, was that he was going to end up dropping. But still intense skill, great vision, just a game breaker offensively. Even if there are some moments with his decision-making that can leave you a little bit wanting. In terms of the next pick, that is Mathis Preston as well. He came in 19 on my final board. But he's somebody that has just a great blend of tools, good dual off threat game, fantastic shot, but I think his playmaking really grew throughout the year. Just not much of a physical force at all. He doesn't really use it much, and that could kind of scare some teams off.
Hey, how many trades do you think we see today?
Jacob with a $2 donation. Thank you so much, my man. How many trades do you think we see today? I'm thinking a couple, at least. Like, in this stream, I will say. I think we'll see more than a couple just the entire day. But in terms of like rounds 2 through 3, I'm thinking we see at least 2. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking at least. Let me know what you guys think, though. Who are the Flames grabbing? Yeah, so they don't have back-to-back picks anymore, but they do have 36th overall. I feel like if Preston's there, that's an automatic one. But I have a feeling about like a... Again, Nikita Sherbakov makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be surprised about William Hawkinson if they went for him. But it could... I think Igor Shilov. I think that's... I predicted Igor Shilov to this pick for Calgary for a while. So I feel like I'm just going to keep with that prediction. But I feel like Shilov makes sense for them. Hey, just got here, but who do you think the Hawks should draft at 34 and 37? Who they should draft or who they will draft? because I think Brooks Rogowski is extremely likely at 34, especially with Hextall off the board. I thought that would have been a really intriguing piece for the Blackhawks. By the way, we got 400 in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us here for day 2 of the NHL draft. You guys are the absolute goats, ladies and gentlemen. Up here early in the morning, watching the second round. That's what I call dedication. If you guys are enjoying the hype, though, and enjoying the excitement throughout the channel, hit that like button if you haven't already. By the way, we released our grades for every first-round pick very late last night. So if you want to have a 2-monitor setup, that video on the stream, go right ahead. But in terms of Chicago and who they should draft, I mean, for them, I would say it's kind of hard because I don't think they don't need a Villeneuve. They don't need a Preston in terms of the actual fits. Oh, I forgot Simo Ignatavicius. He'd be my 3rd best player available. I would go for Ignatavicius 100%. That's like such a perfect physical middle 6 piece. I'd go him at 34, and at 37... I think I'd go William Hawkinson. I think I'd go William Hawkinson just for how much he, I think, could just stabilize that bottom pair defensively. Good left shot, good size, good skating ability. He's not anything special with the puck, and that, I think, is a reason why he has kind of fallen. But I still think he's a super refined defensive player. So I would not be surprised if he's a super early 2nd-round pick. Especially for a team like Chicago. Like, I think that just makes sense for them. Rangers grade out a C, taking Schmitz. I like Carl's Aree much better. A positive is them getting Theodore from Vegas. A Dorofia from Vegas for draft picks only. That was a good trade. For sure, Joe. I 100% agree. And that was the same exact grade I gave the Rangers, too. Was a straight C for Schmitz. I think he's going to be solid there. Nothing exceptional fit overall, but could have gone worse. He could have been the Buffalo Sabres. Wings fans are in hell. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry, man. It's been a brutal go. Who do you think the Stars should draft? Good question, actually, because they still have their 2nd-round pick, right? Let's see. Yeah, they still have 59. I mean, if Xavier Villeneuve drops that far, probably not. My dream scenario is Mathis Preston, personally. Outside of that, I would love a Victor Plante. He would be awesome. In terms of guys I could see being available at 59, Victor Plante I could see dropping that far. Adam Gollier, I would really like. Ryder Cali was one that I'm still shocked is a day 2 pick. There was a lot of I was hearing a lot of momentum on him as a late 1st rounder. I don't think he's going to survive to 59, but that would be an awesome pick. Alan Valentini I think would be a fun fit on the Stars. I would like him for a 3rd line for the future. There's some really good, interesting talent still here at day 2, ladies and gentlemen. Some really intriguing talent. Because I would say for the draft, it doesn't quite drop off in terms of that true talent until like around 50 or so is where I think it really starts to drop off. And we haven't hit that nearly yet. So still, Xavier Villeneuve, Preston, ton of talent. Ferocity, thank you for the $2 donation. Thank you for the coverage. Go Ducks. Hey, 1st round was really intriguing. I'm still kind of like flabbergasted that they didn't draft somebody that with big beef and big size. But a very intriguing 1st round for them. I'm very curious to see how that goes in the future. Let me see here. Let me get the draft pulled up just to make sure it's on it. By the way, for the peeps on Sportsnet, is it on Sportsnet 1 this 2nd round? I'm pretty sure, but I can't tell. No, we want Victor Plante to Calgary. Oh, that would be a good pick. At 35, that would be a really, really good, or 36? 36? Yeah, 36. Sorry, I just, there's been so many draft picks traded. There's been so many draft picks traded that I can't keep track. I still believe that Calgary have back-to-back picks for a second. Thoughts on the Carls pick, and who do you want the Flames to draft? Yeah, I went on it to a bit more detail in the grades video earlier today, but solid pick all around. I think just in terms of the fit, how well he could play with a Parekh on the future top pair, I think it makes a lot of sense for them. When do you think William Hawkinson will go? I think like the 35 to 40 range makes a lot of sense for him. Burnsy, love the hockey hair grab. What's your real name? Nathan is my real name. Grav, can you give me 3 prospects at each position at wing, center, or defenseman that you think would work well for the Panthers at 40 and 48? So if we keep these picks tonight, that fit what we want. I would say, first things first, if Mathis Preston is there, I would definitely go for him. I think goaltending-wise, Dmitry Borichev really fits well for Florida. I think he could be available at either of those picks, potentially. Defensively, I think they would really like William Hawkinson. I could also see them going for, like, a Brett Liskey as more of a smart two-way defenseman there. I could see it. D plus for Rudolph is harsh. Fits their need and system's best. I had him in the 6'9" range. Well, Mateo, that's the thing. I had him 22nd. So it's in the eye of the beholder, right? I think he does fit well into Buffalo's system. I agree. That's why it wasn't like an F pick. Like, if I'll say this, if the Canucks took him at 3, I would have given that like an F. And that might be harsh. I know, but like, it was more so about the team fit. And same thing with like McKenna to Toronto. I think that was just a good fit for what McKenna is. And Rudolph, I think the hope is that he kind of becomes like a Bowen Byram 2.0. I still think that's a little rich for 4th overall in this class at his very best, you know? That's just my problem. Is that I think the talent and the refinement is just much like, if you wanted to go for refinement, like Carl's was right there. And I get they didn't need a lefty, but like, I just think he's a much more refined product while bringing similar point production. Chase Reed, I think, has way more sustainable offense. And even though the defense isn't his best play, still, I think he's a much better pick. Rock, morning. Good to see you in the chat. What do you think, where do you expect Villeneuve to go? I'm still thinking Nat. Well, oh yeah, I forgot. Carolina got this Nashville pick. I was expecting him here in this Nashville pick, but to be fair, they did just select Tommy Blale. So him going to Nashville, less likely. But I could see Carolina taking him. That's the thing. I could see Carolina taking him. You know what? I'm going to predict it. He goes 42 to Carolina and we just get shenanigans. Kevin with the 2, as well as Chad with the 279. Thank you guys so much. Let me get Chad up there as our last donator. My man coming through. Love to see it. And yeah, good morning from San Jose, aka the draft winners. 100%, Kevin. 100%. And then the Canucks reached that 3 is going to age like milk. Yeah, I feel like it's just a low ceiling bet is my issue. I like Malhotra a ton. I just don't see first line guy there, which top 3 is just not where I would have got him. But I can understand the appeal. Let's see. By the way, is it fair to give the Ducks a B+? Yes or no? I mean, draft in general, I mean, I think it was solid. Nothing exceptional. I wouldn't go that high, but depends on what they do later as well. What the heck happened with Ethan Belchet's dropping so hard? I mean, that's the thing. It wasn't massive compared to where I was hearing him. I was expecting him in like the 12 to 14 range, and he drops to 17. But it was still it was an intriguing drop considering Dagenais went ahead, which I can see the appeal in Dagenais, but I just don't understand compared to Belchet's. Like, Dagenais is a much more physical player, but that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. Yeah. Like, that's all I can think about, honestly. Gio, good to see you in the chat. Welcome. Steve, hit that like button for Grav. Hey, I appreciate that. We're at 50 likes right now. We got 750 beauties in the stream already. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be here all throughout round 2 and 3, covering every single pick as they come. I've watched so many prospects, so much tape on this class. So some people know who the top 10 is, and they can give you a little bit of an excerpt. We're going to be giving you detailed analysis on all these round 2 picks, round 3 guys, watching, I would assume, all of these guys, unless Ottawa picked somebody that was like a consensus 350 pick or something in the 3rd round. And somebody mentioned earlier your thoughts on the Langenberg-Hohen pick. I mean, I after sleeping on it, I feel slightly better about it, but not by a massive amount. It's just such a little sample size, and even though the injury doesn't seem like it'll be debilitating, it's just such a risk. But it could pay off. I think Langenberg-Hohen, with his goal-scoring instincts, with his skill in transition, has some things to work with, but I still think from what I saw, his game was pretty individual, pretty like he wasn't really fitting into the team scheme very well, even if his goal scoring was there. So I don't know, maybe like a power play, complimentary goal scorer, I could see, but I feel like there's just a lot of development and a lot of patience they need to give to him in the future. But the thing that was interesting for me is that like he doesn't really he has a bigger body, he's like 6'2", but he's not really like a physical piece from what I've seen. More of a puck protecting guy, which is perfectly okay. It's just intriguing that Ottawa would prioritize that, you know? Let's pray Chicago does something not dumb. Chances next to none. With Kyle Davidson at the helm, you never know. Just saw Carolina has 5 picks today. Do we see more trades for them? I would expect it. At least one of those picks is going to be traded down. You know it. I mean, similarly to Pittsburgh, you can bet on the Carolina Hurricanes trading down in the draft. It's almost guaranteed. Pat, love the content yesterday during the draft. Big props. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you. It's good to have you here this morning. By the way, good morning to everybody. Let's get some good mornings in the chat here. Day 2 of the NHL draft is here, and for me, it's just as exciting as round 1. Especially for these guys that maybe have a bit more flaws, seeing where they go, what the team fits could look like. Always super intriguing. Hey, Craig and Big Cheese with the back-to-back donations. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that a ton.
What team most likely drafts Yaroslav Brizgalov?
And then the big donation for Big Cheese. Thank you, dude. Let me get you up on the big board. My man coming through.
Detroit getting a first for Casa was A+. JP Hurlburt thoughts?
Yeah, it is interesting. Let me see real quick. Yeah, and so on the first question, coming from Craig, where does Yaroslav Brizgalov go? He's interesting. I know he was ranked, he was ranked 85th by EP. I remember seeing that. I was like, oh, that's pretty intriguing. Yeah, 6'4" forward. Played, I thought, a very solid season for Medicine Hat this year. Really looked much more refined in the playoffs. Merrimack is an interesting college commitment, I'll say, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a 4th rounder. He was 90th on the North American rankings by Central Scouting. But I like how he uses his body. I mean, a little bit more of like an under-the-radar guy for Medicine Hat this year, but another big cog in that machine. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued for sure. But I would say probably like late 3rd is where I would predict him, if I had to guess. And then from Big Cheese, Detroit getting a first for Coast was A+. JP Hurlburt thoughts. I mean, it's basically, when you think about it, it's basically just a Costa for JP Hurlburt swap, which, in terms of just pure value, I don't know if I love, but, so, for me, JP Hurlburt was, I think, JP Hurlburt was 37th on my board, to give you an idea. So, for me, it would have been like trading an early 2nd rounder for Costa. Now, Detroit had unbelievable goaltending depth, so, and I think Trey Augustine was going to be the starter in the future anyways, so I don't think it was like, trading Costa was a no-brainer. It is just interesting the way they did it. But I think JP Hurlburt could be a really interesting passer, playmaker, great vision on the ice in the offensive zone. He has a special sense to the game. It's just, I think the speed in his game is very lacking. And a lot of his offense this year for Kamloops came through the rush and on transition. And speed wasn't a huge weakness in the WHL this year, but in the NHL, I see that being a big weakness if he doesn't improve on it. And that's where my issue comes in. So there is still potential for him to really improve on that, and I hope that that's able to happen. But I could see a scenario where that speed doesn't increase and he maybe stalls out, and he isn't able to find that extra gear. When do we actually start? The broadcast is going, so I'm pretty sure we'll be starting here in a couple minutes' time. I'm hoping so. Leafs are not getting Villanova. I would expect him to be taken before this, but you never know. You never know. Where'd you get your shirt from? I got this from Target. I got World Champion Dad. It was like $9 in the Target clearance aisle, and I'm like, of course I'm gonna rep for my boy Snoop. Are you kidding? I don't play when it comes to my boy Snoop, man. I don't play. And then Craig with another 2. What are the odds the Pens can grab Marcus at 39? I mean,
What are the odds the Pens can grab Marcus at 39?
Craig, I'll tell you this. I think it's near 100%. Like, I think it is near 100%. I think the interest in Marcus Ruck when you don't have Liam is practically zero. That's what I've heard from teams. I would be shocked if anybody had the... Like, it would just be trolling at that point. Like, you're taking a worse player not having his brother with him just to troll Pittsburgh. Now, is there any team that would want to troll Pittsburgh that hard? Maybe New Jersey, but I don't think the rest of the teams in that range care. It's all Western Conference teams and the New Jersey Devils before Pittsburgh comes up. And I don't feel like there's much of a point. Shocky, who's your favorite player left on the board? Xavier Villeneuve, for sure. I ranked him 13. Mathis Preston, who was ranked 19th for me. I think he'd be a sensational high upside pick. Simas Ignatavicius would be, I think, a really translatable third-line player. I'm surprised he hasn't been picked yet. Ryder Cali will be up there. William Hawkinson. Victor Plante. Casey Mutrin. Those are the names that I'm the highest on right now that are still available. What later round prospect are you the highest on? See, that's the thing, is that they're high on my rankings, so I can't, it's hard to tell where they'll actually go. I could see Adam Gollier slipping pretty far in this class, but he's 33rd for me. After that, William Lassell is not the biggest goaltender, but I thought he put up just unreal moments in production in the QMJHL this year. I could also see Ryder Fedorov as another goalie. He was unbelievable for Ottawa this year. I think he deserves a shout in like the third round, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Hockey Arcade, how we doing? Sam Preston at Villeneuve to Vancouver. That would be unbelievable. That would be unbelievable. I would have Vancouver as one of the winners of the draft if that happened. I'll just say that. Yeah, on the broadcast, they're talking about the Blue Jackets listening to offers on Werenski. Let us know. Do we see the Werenski trade today? With a bit more time for Columbus to think about it.
If nobody is interested in Marcus,
Cameron with a $5.
The Pens theoretically hold off for a while. Also, who does Chicago
interesting.
34?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's impossible. I mean, I think there's a limit. Like, if Marcus is still available in like the 4th round, then I think that's a little bit like, okay, a team might just take him at that point. But I feel like I would trade down or at least try to get some more assets. I think you could go into like the late 2nd at least. I think feel pretty confident about it. What do you think about Ignatavicius? He is, I think, one of the most physically refined players of this class. Such a smart forechecker. Uses his reach well. Especially off the puck. I think he's just such an effective pressure provider. And he showed some pretty good skill at times in the Swiss League this year. I think he's so underrated, man. And I get he might not have like the superb flash, but neither does Gleb Bugachov, I don't think. At least consistently. And those guys are pretty much neck and neck for me in my personal rankings. Dmitry Borchev can never have enough Russian goalies. You're not wrong there, Warrior. Borchev is my #1 goalie in the class, but I don't expect him to drop at all. I'll say that. Let me get you as the last donor camera before I forget. Thank you so much, my man. Oh, then Mike has the 2! Right as I'm putting it in. My man coming through, man. My man.
Will you be live for FA Frenzy?
And yes, we will be live for the free agency period, Mike, on the channel. We will be live for that. Do not worry. Do not worry. A lot more streams during the couple weeks here. Some people was asking how far Rubric could drop. I'm thinking like late 2nd round. I still think Calgary makes a lot of sense with like 51 or 55. Like, especially if they take, like, a Preston here, I could really see, like, a Rubric as more of a bigger piece, even though he doesn't play big at all. I would say Preston plays bigger than Rubric does. Dude, Rubric plays like he's 5'10", and it drives me up a wall, man. It truly does. Craig with the 2. In this draft, who has better edge work than Jonas Wu?
In this draft, has better edge work than Jonas Wu?
Sorry, yeah, Jonas. It's early. It's early for me. Thank you for the donation, though, Craig. That's a good question, actually. By the way, we got 1,000 in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd round is about to begin. Vancouver is about to be on the clock at 33rd. I want to know for you guys, who do you think will end up being the pick? For me, because they've drafted 2 forwards already, I'm going to go for Nikita Shurvikov here. But yeah, who has better edge work in the draft than Jonas Wu? I would say Chase Reed. I would say Tommy Blale. Maybe Albert Schmitz.
Thoughts on the Islanders
But
drafting Gustafson
he's
over
up there.
Belchik?
He's up there for sure. Oh my goodness! 3 donations. Blinker Fluid, Jacob, and then is Snack Attack. Right, Snack Attack, not 8, with the $10. Oh my
Where do you
goodness
think
gracious.
Cooper Williams from the
Holy
Saskatoon
crap.
Blades will go?
Thank you so much, guys. That was like a jump scare. All at once. Appreciate that so much, y'all. From each of you beauties. Each of you guys.
I was sweating all week that the Sharks would trade one of the picks only for them to use them all and make out like bandits.
Yeah, so for
Hopefully Verhoff and Dickinson is good enough for a potential top pair.
Blinker with the first donation. Thoughts on the Islanders drafting Gustafson over Belchets. And then Titchy with the 279. I really want Rubric as a Hab. I mean, I don't know if he falls as far to Montreal. I'm pretty... Let's see. What is their next
I
pick?
really want Rubric to the Hab.
Their next pick is... I'll try... Let me bring up both sides here so we can have both the first round and the second round on the board for right now before we get the picks going. But yeah, Montreal's first pick is 93. Good luck. I'll just say that. I'll just say that. Though, who knows? I know a lot of teams don't like him. I don't really like him that much, but even I would take a bet on him in the late second round. But yeah, thoughts on the Islanders drafting Gustafson over Belchets. Belchets, I think, was more of a natural fit, but Gustafson, I think, is just a perfect second pair D. Like, you're loading up on pure skating, man. Gustafson is just such a fluid skater. I mean, up there with the woo debate. But he's so fluid, so good under pressure, so... Like, he just has a good sense of the game, able to escape the pressure that comes against him. I think he's going to be just a rock-steady defensive D. Plus has physicality to boot in spades. So I would not be surprised if he's a huge one there. Jacob, where do you think Cooper Williams from the Saskatoon Blades will go? That's a good question. He's another one that I kind of heard mixed opinions on. I would be shocked if he goes later than the third, though. I think he's a third-round pick, I would imagine. Yeah, I was sweating all week that the Sharks would trade one of the picks, only for them to use them all and make out like bandits. Hopefully, Verhoff and Dickinson is good enough for a potential top pair. I think it is. I think, or at least it could be. We'll see, obviously, what could come. But I don't think it's a bad bet necessarily. I will say they're two pretty similar players, though I think I maybe prefer Verhoff slightly more in their draft year. But like similar strengths and weaknesses. Maybe you want to differentiate them on different pairs. But San Jose, what a first round, man! I still can't believe it. Vancouver is on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. We're almost 15 minutes in. Why has the draft not started? This is ridiculous. Guys, these picks should be happening like every single second. Let's get it going, man. And then Mindo of Kevin with the $5. I got you, dude. I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Or Mind of Kevin. Mindo. And then Craig again with the 2 Canadian. Any team have more NHL prospects than Medicine Hat? I mean, in the CHL,
Any team have
Moncton,
more
I guess, was up there.
prospects than Medicine Hat.
According to Elliot Freeman, Dallas is still actively trying to trade Jason Robertson. Interesting. Will we see the Robertson trade today, folks? Will we see the Robertson trade today? Trade straight away? That would make sense, actually. Last night was a brutal watch. Yeah, it's just I'm a draft guy, but these like the fact that went 4+ hours is ridiculous. Just got here. What did I miss? Nothing yet, Griffins. Nothing yet. No picks have been made so far. All right. Do you think Sokolowski will play in the NHL? I think he's an easy projection, and the fact that the Flyers picked him in the first round means they're gonna give him an opportunity. But I don't see him as more than a okay third pair D. And that's the thing that I wanted to stress is that I'm not going to change my thoughts on a prospect and everything that I've watched and everything that I've focused on with them just because they were drafted higher than I expected. Like, I'm not going to automatically have Sokolowski as he's absolutely a first round prospect guy now. I mean, he was drafted in the first round, but that doesn't mean that I see him as that. And that's the thing is that I'm not going to change my opinion on him. So I always thought of him as somebody that could be an okay third pair guy if he does make it. And that's why I ranked him in the 70s. So I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to change everything I saw and watched this year just because he was picked higher. But maybe the Flyers see something more. I Personally,
Who do
no.
you think
Personally.
the Hawks should draft at 32 and 35?
And a couple big donations here from Ethan Burns and B. Dougie, as well as Michael with the $5. Oh my goodness, thank you guys. Oh, Canucks take Rogowski. Interesting. Okay, okay. The 33rd overall pick has been selected. Brooks Rogowski. Interesting. I don't hate that for Vancouver. Brooks Rogowski is a fascinating player for me. He was somebody that I ranked 44th in this class, but I could see the argument as an early second rounder. Intense size, and he is pretty strong as a skater for his size too. I think that's a huge component. He's still pretty unrefined in terms of his decision making, and I do think he's somebody that I think needs a ways to come in terms of his processing. But this is somebody that has some good tools to him, man. And when he's given some space, can look just dazzling out there. So I think Rogowski has some interesting potential. I think could be a middle sixer in the future, but I think he uses his body pretty well already. And I think for Oshawa would have very solid season. So I think 33rd overall, that's decent value for them. Maybe a little bit later than I would have taken him, but you have Malhotra, you get Novotny, you get Rogowski. Some pretty interesting size there added to the table. And now Chicago's on the clock at 34. Now the first pick has been made. We're going to really get rolling here. For Ethan, does anybody waste their second round picks on block depends? I'm getting both the Rock Twins, Calgary and Vancouver both have tons. I don't see it. There's not really a point for going for Marcus. Oh, Chicago with Villeneuve! Chicago with Villeneuve! Holy crap, Black Chicago. Okay. Okay. That is an excellent pick. I was not expecting him to go this early. But Chicago takes Xavier Villeneuve, who was ranked 13th on my board, was the best player available by a pretty clear margin. Chicago gets him at 34. That is excellent, man. That is excellent. Again, there are some times where the decision-making can be a bit off and he can be a bit turnover-prone, and you maybe want to see a bit more physicality out of him, sure. But he is a rock star with the puck on his stick, man. This guy can just be a wizard out there. His handles, his dangles, his ability to see the ice, create for his teammates. He is just a offensive wizard. And I know they didn't put up the greatest point production, but I felt like it wasn't the greatest fit. He goes to BU, the Hudson factory, and he's going to go right up that same lane. No pun intended. That is a fascinating pick for Chicago and one hell of a bet to make at 34. At this point, free money in my opinion. Hey, if you're gonna trade your 4th overall pick, you might as well take a swing like that in the first round. That is exceptional, man. Now we have New Jersey on the clock at 35. Let me get to the donations first. Who do you think the Hawks should draft at 34 and 37? What big moves should they make in trades and free agency? I would be hesitant to make many trades or make many free agent signings with this class, but I think they're in a real need for that guy alongside Bedard, man. So in fact, I'm interested to see if they take him. Hardest working man in hockey. Thank you, Michael. I salute you, Grav. Nikishin wasn't moved yet. Go Canes. I could see him as a day 2 pick. You never know. Family is cool, but last night's format looked unprofessional in comparison to years past, especially all the blunders on the draft calls. Yeah, it's interesting, but it doesn't compare to having all the teams on the draft floor, man. It really does not. Why would Chicago pick another D? Why not? I mean, they have so many prospects. They have so many prospects, you might as well take a risk. Now, maybe less so that you got Byram, but I still think there's an opportunity for a Villeneuve in the future. This, I think, really means that Korchinski is gone, though. Like, even more so than before. Matt with the $5. Is the draft still going? I thought the Sharks already won. I mean, it is true. You are correct. But yes, even if it is locked in, the Sharks won the draft. It is still going. Okay, let me get the Elite Prospects board up here. Because they have the updated picks as they'll come. So, second round, we got Brooks Rogowski and Xavier Villeneuve as the picks early on. Very intriguing, man. Very, very intriguing. Great start for Chicago. Great start in general, though, I would say, for this second round. 2 really solid players there. All right, to New Jersey. What will they do? They're on the clock. They haven't made a pick yet. Grab, do you think the Flyers could have been more aggressive in round 1, and can they still be aggressive, or are they limited? I mean, they did get an extra second with that trade down. I mean, if they were going to go for Sokolowski, I guess I'm happy that they traded down for it, but still, it's a little bit strange. How many cups do the Sharks win with this core? At least 15. You got to think. At least 15. I think 1. I'm not going to put them as a dynasty. I'm just hoping they break that Sharks curse, man. That's all I'm hoping for. What's the return on Romanov? I mean, he's something that I could definitely see being traded. I think he's very likely. I mean, with this seller's market, you should trade him now if you're the Islanders. Why not? Why not, man? Grav, who are your top 5 best players available at this point? Good question, Apollos. So now that Villeneuve is off the board, my top 5 is Mathis Preston, Simas Ignatavicius, Victor Plante, William Hawkinson, and Casey Mutrin. All right, 35 for New Jersey. Oh, the Blackhawks trade up. Chicago is going for back-to-back picks here, trading up from 37 and using pick 119 to go to 35 here. Chicago must have somebody on their mind. Intriguing. I could see like a Casey Mutrin. Maybe. I mean, you go for a forward. I could see a wing physicality there. Ryder Cali, I'm still shocked, has not been picked yet. I would not be surprised if he's the guy. I'm thinking either Mutrin or Cali. I'm thinking one of those two. What do you guys think? Who is Chicago zeroing in on right now? Who's taking Ruck? It's gonna be Pittsburgh. It's gonna be no way anybody else does. If they're just taking Bjork and filling their center role for the future, will the Hellebuck trade happen, and if so, where? I mean, I think it's more likely, but who knows what Winnipeg's gonna do. All right, Chicago, what do you have in store for us? You already got Villeneuve as a crazy selection. Ryan Rubrick. Okay. Ryan Rubrick is the pick at 35 in Chicago. Honestly, a lot higher than I thought he was going to go. But that is what a intriguing couple of picks there for Chicago. I like Villeneuve way more than I like Rubrick, but I will say this. If you can find the fire within Rubrick's soul, this man could become a really intriguing piece. Unbelievable tools with his offense. He's a great shooter, finds space pretty well, solid puck protector. But the shot is what you're really liking Rubrick for. Granted, I don't think there's any engagement in his game off the puck, and that is the issue in my case with Rubrick, is that he is a slow player. Not that he's the worst skater necessarily, but he is just a slow processor, and the lack of engagement, the lack of urgency in his game really kind of just gave me a sore thought throughout the course of the year. But there is tools here. There is skill. And if you can get him just a little bit more engaged, just a little bit more tempo with the puck on his stick, then I think he could become an intriguing guy. It's just he's a bit more of like a one-dimensional quick strike guy. But with his size, there's potential there for sure. Calgary goes for Chase Harrington. Not surprised to see him go in the second round. Heavy intensity. He's something that with, especially the off-puck game, I've really liked his rise throughout the year, but solid season in the WHL. I wouldn't have gone this high with him, but I can see the vision. I could see him as an intriguing bottom 6 piece if he does work out for Calgary at 36. So yeah, some pretty intriguing picks here to start out the second round. Chase Harrington to the Calgary Flames at 36. Officially locked in, folks. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. I wouldn't have gone that high, personally. Like, I think I would have rather taken the bet on him in the 50s picks that they had, but also I could have seen him going way higher than 50s. So, what did KD give up? Just a 4th-round pick, I believe, to bring out. I think it was 118. But honestly, they could have selected Tingus Pingus with that 35th pick, and still Xavier Villeneuve would have been an incredible pick for them. 37 and New Jersey on the clock here. Let's see what the Devils do as they traded down in the draft. Oh, Matthias Van Hanen. Okay. That's a fun one. Van Hanen was an overager in the WHL this year for Everett, but had a sensational season, over 80 points. Really smart player here. This is somebody that I think, especially under pressure, is able to get passes off. He's just a crafty guy in the offensive zone. I don't know about like the pure upside, and I don't know if his size, if he's going to make it necessarily, but I think the bet as a second rounder makes sense. And I'm happy for him, man. I mean, he was not on the radar until this year. Goes as an overager high in the second round. That's fun. That's fun. Wouldn't have been the pick I made for New Jersey, but I can see the vision there. Yes, we will have a free agency stream this year. Don't worry. I really like the Villeneuve pick. Same here, man. Same here. Will Hawkinson make it a Detroit's pick? Where are they? Let me pull up the Tankathon real quick, guys. Detroit at 47. I think it's a possibility. I wouldn't be super shocked to see it. Though I maybe like slightly before, but I wouldn't say by a massive amount. All right, Seattle is on the clock at 38th overall. We'll see what they have in store. Next picks are Seattle at 38, Pittsburgh at 39, Florida at 40, and then Vancouver at 41. Now the picks are really flying, ladies and gentlemen. Really, really going. Fast and furious. I wouldn't be surprised if Hawkinson, though, maybe sneaks in here at Seattle. Just go for first 2D right at the start. Oh. Casey Mutrin. That's a good pick, ladies and gentlemen. Casey Mutrin is off the Seattle Kraken at 38. Heavy physicality. This guy is extremely refined, but for me, was ranked 30th on my board. He goes 38 to Seattle. Just a translatable, projectable third-line piece for the future. This guy knows how to just create chaos. I think especially when it comes to his playmaking, too, there's an element there that I think is quite refined. I just think there are some times where his positioning, his decision-making can kind of be a bit off, and I want to see him tighten things up a bit more. But there's potential here with his physicality, a very solid floor to build on. So I think for the Kraken, that's a really, really solid pick at 38. But I would imagine Marcus Ruck is the pick here for Pittsburgh unless they trade down and still get him, which is a possibility. But I would imagine Marcus Ruck is the guy here. I would imagine. Yeah, okay, there you go. Marcus Ruck is off to Pittsburgh at 39. The worst kept secret in the NHL. Marcus is off to the Penguins at number 39. And yeah, if you weren't going to get the package deal, it just didn't make sense whatsoever. But the Twins are reunited as they were destined to be, of course. Now, maybe not the direction I would have gone if I'm Pittsburgh, but I can't hate on the story, man. You can't hate on the story. Not a surprise, though, whatsoever for the Penguins. Memphis Preston, though, is available to Florida at 40, and I mocked Preston to Florida at 40. I'm just saying. This would be one heck of a pick, but I would not be surprised. Maybe they go for a goaltender. I could see Dmitry Borchev, Drabel being on the board for them. Go Preston, though, Florida. Come on. Go Preston. Is Mutrin any good? I think so. He has a good sense of the game physically. Good speed to his game for his size. I think he could be a really interesting third-line piece. Not going to wow you, but in the second round, why not take a chance on a guy like that? But yeah, while we have a bit of downtime with the Ruck picks there at number 39, I did want to mention today's video is sponsored by Prize Picks, the best place to make picks all throughout the NHL season and also the sports world as well. I do have the World Cup on here, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not the biggest soccer fan in the world, but if you are, you can make picks more or less on different players and go through every sport. I mean, the UFC, World Cup, MLB, everything is out there for you. And all you got to do is pick more or less. And it's basically just a fun way to make your predictions and really put your hockey knowledge and sports knowledge to the test. All you got to do to sign up is to hit the link in the description down below, download the Prize Picks app, make sure you use code HMA when you sign up, and when you play $5, you'll get $50 in lineups instantly. But especially when it comes to the NHL season, highly recommend it because it makes those games you might not be interested in usually a lot more interesting. But on to Florida at 40th overall. Again, I'm thinking Preston. Go for it. Go for it, Florida. Go for it. Should have gone Kane over 1 goal. Yeah, that would have been the Kaner. All right, Florida at 40. Simas Ignatavicius. Oh, boy, that's going to be terrifying. Simas Ignatavicius was my second best player on the board, still available. 23rd is where I ranked him, and he goes 40th overall to the Florida Panthers. That is one heck of a pick for a Florida team that, my goodness, loves their dogs. Ignatavicius is going to bring you that. heavy physicality, a relentless forechecker. Ignatovic is just such a smart physical player. Knows how to weaponize space, weaponize his reach. He's going to get in lanes, create havoc for defenders. He might not be the most silky or smooth player in the world, but my goodness, does this guy know how to create chaos, know how to forecheck, know how to use his body. I just could so easily see him on a Florida third line, kind of in that Larissa line and mold, I think. Very similar players. Extremely similar players. So I love that pick for the Florida Panthers, man. Oh, that is nice. 41st Vancouver. Let's see what they come up with here. And Nicholas Olsen. Wow, wow, that is intriguing. Has Vancouver gone for 4 forwards straight? Nicholas Olsen is a high offensive bet, though. I was kind of shocked to see him this high up, considering I thought that his game was a bit one-dimensional, and I thought some teams might be a bit scared of that. But this guy has just electric offensive tools. It's a fun bet to make at 41. Very fun bet to make. I still have some issues over what the role is at the NHL level. But if he's able to get a top 6 spot, I could see him really running away with it, especially on the power play. But that is intriguing. That is very, very intriguing, man. Especially at 41, I'm fine with that bet. I'm fine with that. Good pick though by both Florida, for sure. Florida for sure at 40. That's just solid value. And really, Mathis Preston is my only guy that still is pretty high up on my board that hasn't been selected, which is usually not the case. Usually there's like one guy in my top 25 or so that goes in like the 6th round or something. You guys know the Dylan Duke situation. If you know, you know. Carolina's on the clock, though. They could go for Preston here. They could go for Preston here pretty easily. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm liking this second round so far. A lot of good names, a lot of good talent. Teams taking some heavy swings so far. No goaltenders. This is what I was telling you guys. No goaltenders are going to be selected top 40. That was one of my bold predictions, and it comes true, ladies and gentlemen. No goaltender selected in the top 40. Honestly, still a little bit surprised. That I think Florida would have taken a goaltender if it wasn't for Ignatovic still being on the board. But Carolina, could be Borachev, could be Preston. I could see Trable, them liking him. I feel like Brett Liskey is still like floating around. I feel like he could be an early sec. How is Ryder Cali not selected? That's shocking to me. I thought he was gonna be somebody that got into the late first round easily. Do you think the Oilers have a shot at Borachev? Where are they? Can you let me know? When's their next pick? They could have gotten second ruck at 54, reached for the feel-good story. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. Marcus was somebody I ranked 62nd in this class. Where do you think Thomas Galvis and Ethan McKenzie fall to? McKenzie, I think, will be a third-rounder. Galvis is so stupid. He should have been drafted by now, like in last year's draft, but he hasn't. I feel like some teams are just going to... He's a small defenseman. And every single time, he's like, oh, he's going to get drafted this time. No, he's a small defenseman. By the way, 12 seconds left on the clock. Is Carolina going to trade down again? Are they going to trade down again? Is Shelov too small? He doesn't have a small frame, but he does play very small. He's not a physically refined product whatsoever. I don't think that his frame is necessarily small. It's just the way he plays. Oilers pick at 52. Not out of the question. Not out of the question, I don't think. Now, teams like New Jersey could make that interesting, but I wouldn't say it's out of the question. The thing is, Florida having that 48th overall pick does give me pause, though. I think they would be really in on a goaltender there. So, but if he gets past, if they gets past Florida, I think there's an opportunity there for sure. Grav, who do you think the Leafs will pick at 60, 69, and 85? I think I mocked Aram Olsen to the Leafs at 60. I'll just go off of who I think they should pick in terms of who I think could be there. Victor Plot, I think, would be exceptional. I think that'd be such a good pick for them. I like an Adam Gollier as well in that 69 pick if he's available. 85, somebody that maybe could be available is Adam Valentini. I like him too, but you already picked Victor Plot. Maybe you don't want to go for 2 small wings. So maybe like Alexander Bilecki if he's there. Lars Steiner, I could see. Thomas Vandenberg. He's one that I'm also kind of surprised hasn't been picked yet. I thought I was thinking he could be like an early second rounder. But in this range, I think starts to make sense for him too. Shelov's still not drafted. No. Yeah, I'm shocked that Calgary didn't pick him. I'm kind of shocked. But I mean, completely different player in a chase. So, oh, we got a trade alert here, Carolina. So Carolina trades 42 to the Flames. Calgary is trading up in the draft, ladies and gentlemen. Calgary goes up to 42 for picks 51 and 68. Carolina yet again, folks, trades down in the draft. They just keep doing it, man. They just keep doing it. Whose stock dropped the most this draft? Maybe Belchet's, if you're just going off of like where he was picked. Maybe Tommy Blale. I thought he had a ton of heat coming into the draft, and I was shocked to see him go that far down. Yeah, I mean, Calgary could go Shelov here. They could go Shelov. But what do you guys think? Who do the Flames select here jumping up in the draft? I'm predicting Shelov. Why not? Why not, man? Though I could see a D here, maybe like a Ben McBeth. Well, let's see. Danny with the $2. Thank you so much, man. Good morning, bro. Who wants coffee? You're awesome. Go Sharks. And I'll use that for coffee later. Thank you, brother. Though these days, $2 for coffee? Possible.
Awesome. Go Sharks.
Appreciate it, though, Danny. Let me get you as the last donator here. And sorry, guys, if my speech is a bit off today. Oh, they go for Trable. Was not expecting Calgary to go for a goaltender, but Trable, for a lot of teams, was the best goaltender available. Trable has great athleticism for his size. He's something that, especially in the USHL this year, was just great for Youngstown. I think he won USHL Goaltender of the Year, and deservedly so. I think he can be a bit flustered at times when it comes to the chaos around the net, but that's kind of the only thing that I can hold against him. Solid frame, solid speed for his size too. I want to see him just get a bit quicker when it comes to his reads, especially around physical pressure, but I think he's an interesting one. A very, very interesting one. Again, not what I would have expected out of Calgary. I don't know if I would have done that, but I mean, I'm big on Dustin Wolff, to be fair, but still as a backup option, I think Trable, and for me at least, I think Trable is kind of like a fringe starter guy, so not the worst bet in the world. I did hear that Calgary did have Trable ranked in the first round, though, so to see them jump up in the draft for him is not shocking. But now we have Colorado on the clock at 43. I could see Hawkinson as more of a projectile lead, maybe Ben McBeth, because they like their skating on the defensive side. Igor Shilov! Igor Shilov is off to Colorado at 43. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Chucky with the $2. Only OGs remember Gherkin.
Only OGs
yeah,
remember
it's true. It's true.
Crying.
Thank you for the donation, Chucky. It's good to see you here this morning. Shilov is fascinating, man. In terms of just pure puck skill, one of the better ones of this class. But I'm not surprised to see him outside of the top 40. This is somebody with a massive defensive floor. The engagement is not really there as a centerman. I don't really see him as a center. He played center this year, but he just doesn't project me as a center. But a really good power play guy. Crafty around the net especially. I could see an offensive future there. It's just I think his game is very situationally dependent. But at 43rd, it's a high bet to make. And I think for an Avs team that needs some more skill in that prospect pool, why not? Why not? But for me personally, Igor Shilov was ranked 40th. So 43rd, similar range there for Colorado. No big trades yet, Rory. But we've seen a lot of trade backs so far. Now New Jersey is on the clock at 44th overall, ladies and gentlemen. The next three picks afterwards are Anaheim, LA, and the Detroit Red Wings at 47. Holy Preston still on the board? Yeah. Which, again, I'm not really super shocked with, to be honest. I mocked him to Florida at 40, but I'm not surprised that he's... Like, same thing with Villeneuve, man. I was expecting Villeneuve to be in this range. I'm so glad that Chicago took a chance on him, though, early in the second. Hey, B-Man the Awesome. Welcome to the member gang, dude. It's great to have you. By the way, great Charizard profile picture. Let me know. Everybody in the chat right now, what is your favorite Pokemon? What is your favorite Pokemon? For me, real ones know. Real ones should know. And if you don't know, then that's just on you. But for Alligator, my goat. Or Totodile, interchangeable between the two. The best starter ever made. Fight me. Fight me. We got Infernape. That's a good one. Very good choice. Metagross is solid. Dragapult. I like that shout. I like that shout quite a bit. Chespin. Sorry, Chili. Fraud. Sharpedo. I like that one. Open Eyes card hit says Pikachu. Yeah, I bet your favorite movie, too, is Avengers Endgame. I bet your favorite athlete is Michael Jordan, bro. I bet your favorite game is GTA 5, bro. I bet your favorite singer is The Weeknd, bro. Blaziken, I like that. Marshadow, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, New Jersey goes for Nikita Sherbakov. I mean, I guess Anton Salayev 2.0, but not in the top 10. Why not? I like that pick, though, at 44. I think that's solid value. Sherbakov was ranked 35th on my board. Smooth skater. Good pass out of his own zone offensively. And there were some moments with his shot. There was some offensive potential there, I thought. But I think just as a bottom pair D, good tools, good fundamentals, I like Sherbakov quite a bit. So, not a surprise that New Jersey would like a player like that if they liked Anton Salayev. But at 44, I think that's pretty solid. Pretty solid for sure. Bro, crap, chillish, you not you'd end that man's career. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Whoa, Anaheim goes for Jaden Kurtz. Interesting. I was not expecting Kurtz to go this high. Now, if you guys don't know, Kurtz was a Minnesota high school guy this year. Probably the best one as a D. By the way, Wisconsin commit Jaden Kurtz. Wisconsin commit. Love to see that at 45th overall. I was not expecting him to go this high, though. That is wild. He was 61st on North American skaters, but it's always been iffy in terms of Minnesota high school guys in general, but you never know. I personally, I'm not really the biggest fan of the high school level for draft-eligible guys, but you never know. As a big swing offensively, put up some pretty big numbers this year. I will say, out of the second round guys, he's probably the guy I've had the least tape on. I just don't really value the high school league that much, so when I watch it, I'm like, okay, yeah, Kurz is dominating against children that are going to be plumbers in 2 years. Like, great for him, but... The Kings go for Liam Lefebvre. Wow, he went this high? He went this high. Interesting. Lefebvre over Mathis Preston is fascinating to me. Lefebvre is an overager out of the QMJHL. Big size, 6'3". Had a solid season for Chicoutimi. Looked especially good in that second half, but I would not have made this pick personally if I'm LA, but that kind of fits what they like. I mean, he's somebody that's a good net front guy. Good skill, especially on the power play. I don't know what to make of it, though. I think as an overager pick, it's just a bit too high for my personal opinion value-wise, but the size, the setter ability is there for LA, so I'm not really surprised they went after him. I'll say that. But over, like, a Ryder Cali? Like, are we serious? Dude, Ryder Cali must have, like, cursed somebody's grandma in the draft combine, because I don't know how he's still available. Genuinely. Like, so the other guys like Mathis Preston, I can believe that all day, every day. But Cali, with all the projectability he has, very intriguing. Maybe teams don't see him as a center? Possibly. That's the only thing I can really think of right now. But yeah, round 2 is progressing now, ladies and gentlemen. Next up is the Detroit Red Wings at 47. Victor Plotz! Oh, yeah, baby! Let's go! That is a good pick for the Red Wings. Oh, baby. Just to give you guys an idea. By the way, they get max on Victor Plot. That is sick. That is sick, baby. That is drafting a story and drafting a good story. Learn the lessons, Pittsburgh. Learn the lessons. Victor Plante was 25th on my board, and he goes 47th to the Detroit Red Wings. Genuinely, if you swap the picks and you had Hurlburt at 47 and Plante at what was it, 23, this would have been an exceptional draft for Detroit. But still, all things considered, Plante at 47 is great value. This is somebody that, even though he might not be the biggest player in the world, is, I think, the best Plante brother. You've seen the progress that Max has made. Victor, I think, is going to be on a better player, in my personal opinion. This is somebody that is just a pure dog. He is relentless. He is fast with the puck. It makes quick decisions on the rush and in offensive situations. This is somebody that I think is just very NHL coded with his game. He might not be the biggest player in the world, but similarly to like a player like a Bjork in this class, he just sticks to the puck. He's glue out there. This is somebody that is so good under physical pressure. And I think with the floor as well as the potential here, 47 is a no-brainer pick for the Red Wings. No-brainer in my opinion, man. No-brainer. I love it. I love it. That is awesome, man. That is a real good pick for Detroit. Hurlburt has high upside. It's a gamble. I like it. I mean, I can understand it. And also, Hurlburt wasn't going to be available at 47. Plante had a bigger chance of being available at 47. So you kind of draft what you expect to be available more so. But in that case, I mean, it's still the two players. Whether or not they got him and where I would have picked him is not really, doesn't really matter at this point. That's a good pick though for the Wings, man. That's a really good pick. Oh man, we've seen some good picks so far. Some really good fits. Just in general, I will say this. Last year's draft 2025 left me really confused with some of the selections. 2026, even the bad picks, I'm like, or the picks I don't agree with, I'm like, okay, but I can kind of see how he fits into the system. Like, again, like a Rudolph, I think could easily fit in the Buffalo system. Like a Sokolowski easily fits in the Philly system. Like they wouldn't have been what I would do, but I can see how they fit. And that's kind of been the trend throughout this whole draft. Is like I'm just loving it. The Panthers get Ryder Cali. Ain't no way, dog. Florida with 2 first-rounders and 2 absolute bangers. Ryder Cali is off to the Florida Panthers, 48th overall. Cali was ranked 34th on my board, and some real strong value for the Panthers getting Ignatavicius, almost 20 spots higher than where I ranked him, and Cali almost 15 spots higher than where I ranked him as well. Cali is just, I think, a third line. Dude, the Panthers got their third line of the future sorted out. Just completely sorted out. Cali, I think, is just such a refined third line C. Great projection with his decision making, especially in one-on-one situations. This guy can have some magical moments. Especially throughout the year, I saw a lot of growth in his game offensively and a lot more pace to him. But at the end of the day, I think he just has stellar defensive habits, breaks up lanes and passing lanes very easily, and is able to step up into the offense, step up with his skating, and take it from there. I just love him as a support center. That might not be a groundbreaking piece or something that's going to change your team, but is going to play minutes in the NHL and pretty big ones. I love the versatility in Cali and the offensive level that he could have that has been growing throughout the year for North Bay. So 48th overall, man. That is sick. That is sick, man. What a pick. And now LA at 49th overall. Anaheim, Carolina, and Edmonton after this. I mean, Borchev still on the table. LA goes Adam Gollier. Yo, I predicted that. Holy, I think I predicted him at 46, I believe, instead. But that pick was okay. Actually, let me see. Where did I have him? Where did I have Gollier? I know I had him to LA. Okay, I predicted him to 46 to LA. So slightly different scenario, but by a couple picks out. Adam Gollier, that is a strong pick for the LA Kings, man. Gollier was ranked 33rd on my board, and he goes 49th to the LA Kings. This is somebody that I think has a great blend of tools. For his size, he's a smooth skater. This is somebody that can step up into the play, though. Has a lot of ambition to him. But defensively, even though he's quite unrefined with his physicality, I think he's somebody that has a lot of potential in that department. But I think what you're getting here is a really interesting two-way defenseman, a skating first guy, heads-up player, good passer, especially in the offensive zone. I like that a lot for the Kings at 49. 50th? 50 is Mathis Preston. Bro, the last 4 picks have been unbelievably good. Holy crap. The Ducks get Mathis Preston, and that is the final player ranked in my first round. No, I think William Hawkinson is still on the board. But my final player that I ranked in the top 20, he is now off the board. The Ducks go for Klepov, Nordmark, and Mathis Preston, bro. They're going for the whole upside. Holy crap. But Mathis Preston is an incredibly interesting dual threat guy. Great shooting ability, but his playmaking really developed over the course of this season. High skill, high intensity. This is something that I think brings a potential top 6 projection to the table. It's just a matter of consistency and rounding out that physical game, because he can sometimes be a bit weak against high physical pressure. But this is something that, when given the space, can be just an unrelenting player. An unrelenting guy. I just love the vision. I love the creativity. I love this pick. Love this pick for the Anaheim Ducks. Unbelievable, man. And then William Hawkinson. Bro, the last 5 picks have been incredible. No way. The Canes get Hawkinson. They trade down all the way. That is wild. That is wild, man. Hawkinson to the Canes. That is good stuff. That is good stuff right there. William Hawkinson, and now I'm gonna double check. Yes. So with William Hawkinson off the board, that is my final prospect that I ranked in the first round that was on the table. The Canes, I think, especially at 51, are getting just a refined defensive player here. Uses his physicality well, good reach, especially against the rush. He's something that I think is just a really intriguing guy because he knows his strengths and weaknesses. He's not going to be giving you much offense, but he's a smart handler. He's someone that I think makes is just smart decisions defensively, good positioning all over the ice, great physicality. I just think as a bottom pair piece, he's so projectable. He might not give you any offense. I don't see more than like a 20-point D at the end of the day, but this is something I think for the Canes could play a strong role and play a very consistent one. That is a great pick yet again, man. And now the Oilers are on the board at 52. Let's see what they go for. But, man, the last few picks have been great. Just so good. Oh, Kevin Weeks. Kevin Weeks has an update here on the Brandon Carlo situation, saying, I'm told the Leafs are working on a trade with Brandon Carlo, and the Blues are the likely landing spot. So the Blues going after McTavish as well as Brandon Carlo. They get Carlo from the Leafs. Interesting. So it's not done yet, but we have a trade brewing here as Carlo could be heading to the Blues. I'm not really sure I love that for St. Louis. I don't know what their plan is truly, but very interesting. I mean, the Oilers could go for Borchev here. They could get my number 1 goaltender. They could get my number 1 goaltender on the board. We'll see. But in terms of my best players available, it's starting to thin out now, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. It really is. My next best player available is Adam Valentini at 38. So that gives you an idea. A lot of my guys, NHL teams are seeming to like. But Adam Valentini, in terms of the best player available, is still up there. Ben McBeth is also available. Rudolph Brolskons, who I ranked at 45th. Dmitry Borchev, Brett Galiski, Samu Alalari. I'm kind of surprised Alalari hasn't been picked. I could see him to the Oilers, potentially. BWG, Jacob trying to get rid of the True Living stench. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I mean, True Living wasn't,
trying to get rid of the True Living stench?
He sees a puck-moving defenseman and wants to boot him out of the country. I'll just say that. But thank you so much for the donation, BWG. I appreciate ya. It's good to have you in the stream, my man. All right, all right. What is Edmonton having on their hands here? They haven't picked yet. Do we have a trade, potentially? Where do you see Alessandro Diorio going? Probably like late 3rd or early 4th, I would imagine. I wouldn't expect him to go super high, personally. By the way, we got 1,200 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you guys haven't been enjoying the hype and enjoyed the stream, make sure you hit that like button. We are just a few likes away from 200. Let's get there right now, folks. We got enough people in the stream. Let's make it happen. If you guys are enjoying it, let's make it happen. What a pick, though, Anaheim. And, like, the last few picks have been insane. Oh, I just bit my tongue. Oh, that hurts. Brandon Carlo to St. Louis for 2 third-round picks, by the way, confirmed. Very interesting. I might have suspected Carlo to go for a bit more than that, but good amount of picks there for Toronto to work with. We'll see. Maybe they move up with those picks, potentially. But Oilers trading 52 for 48 and 133. Tampa is moving up to 52nd overall. And they trade 58 and 133. Thomas Vandenberg? Ow, man. I bit my tongue so bad I'm bleeding. Ugh. That's brutal. I could see Thomas Vandenberg here. For sure. Man. I don't think I've ever bit my tongue that badly. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I felt like Carlo was gonna get more than 2/3, but I know his value was pretty low. Still, I was expecting like at least like a second round pick plus. All right, what does Tampa have up their sleeve, folks? Let's see. Let's see. What do you think about the Ducks picks? Hyped about Preston, seems like a stud. Zoggy, W50 is ridiculous. Dude, the Ducks have just gone for pure upside swings. I'm kind of here for it, man. I'm kind of here for it. Like, unrelenting, pure upside. Even though Klepov and Normark aren't ranked where, for me at least, aren't ranked where they were picked, I can respect the vision, and Preston at 50 more than makes up for it, man. Grav, you think Carlo is a replacement for Parayko? Doesn't seem like Parayko's getting moved. I know we heard that Parayko just didn't want to leave St. Louis. All right, Tampa, what do you got for us? The last like 5 picks or so have been sensational, so I'm hoping that this continues. Let's see. Oleg Kulabakyan? That is a very Tampa pick, I will say. That is a very Tampa pick. Intriguing. Very intriguing. Tampa loves their Q guys, though, so I'm not surprised about that. But Oleg, if you told me that Oleg would have been a second round pick, I would have thought you were crazy. Like, absolutely crazy. But Tampa loves their skill out of the QMJHL. That we know. And Kulibakyan has insane hands. This is somebody that if you give him a rush, he is going to make you look silly, man. They're showing the highlights package, and like, yeah, like he has some dazzling moments. I don't know about the game outside of that personally. I think he's a bit of a rush dependent guy, and he's a pretty small player, all things considered. But that is an intriguing one. I mean, he was great for Halifax's last year, 73 points in 64 games. If anybody can do it, it's Tampa. But Oleg Kulibakyan, I'm shocked. He's a second rounder. I'm shocked that they traded up. I'm shocked they traded up to select him. Like, surely he would have been there 58, right? Brett Liskey. Oh, good pick there by the Flyers. I like Brett Liskey a lot for them. Super smart player, and especially in the second half for Everett, he really improved on his game, not just in terms of the defensive detail, but also showing a lot more offense. He was almost a point per game for Everett in the playoffs, which, fantastic team. So keep that in mind. But still, Brett Liskey was 47th on my board. He goes 53rd to Philly. But as a right D, I could really see him figuring himself out as a bottom pair, efficient, really smart defenseman. Really, at the end of the day, he is a smart decision maker. This is somebody that rarely makes too many mistakes and is just dependable on the back end. So combining that with his skating, I think that's a really intriguing bet. I like that a lot for the Flyers. Oleg is very, very silky. That is for sure. All right. Thomas Galvis? Hold the phone. Okay. Wow. Thomas Galvis went in the second. You know what? I am so freaking happy for him, man. I am so freaking happy for him. Thomas Galvis is a second round pick. And what a journey it has been for the small Czech defenseman that could, man. I am so happy for this guy. Should have been a draft pick 2 years ago. Should have been a draft pick a year ago. But the Penguins take him at 54. Efficient puck movement. So silky with his skating. This is something that I think has a really interesting ceiling to him. Sure, a bit of a floor, but he's playing so well in the Czech League recently. He's absolutely worth a draft pick. 54th, though, man. That's sick. I love that for the Pens. I love that bet. I love that bet. We have a trade in the works here at 55th overall, it seems. We shall see. Or maybe they're just talking about the Carlo trade, maybe. But yeah, Galvis, that is really fun, man. That is really fun. I like that a lot for the Pens. Great at the World. If you watch the World Juniors, you'll know Galvis' name. He's a monster. He was a monster out there. So for Toronto, the Leafs acquire picks 73 and 76 in this year's class. The Flames go for Alan Shiklishkamov. I was dreading actually having to pronounce his name. Another very intriguing swing. Now, out of the NHL, this is not something that I am super high on personally. I think there's interesting skill, and he is really young for this class. But I don't know about the actual projection. I think he's really one-dimensional, but also has some skill to boot. So we'll see about it. I'm not like super high on him. He wouldn't have been in like my top 100 as an example, but like just outside of that range. But it's a high swing. It's a high swing for sure. I will say, after the Hawkinson pick, there's been some wild swings. There's been some pretty wild swings, I will say that. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. The Bruins are now on the clock at 56th overall, and the next few picks are the Canes at 57, the Oilers at 58, and the Stars at 59, baby. I mean, the Stars have some interesting options. Valentina, I would love. Ben McBeth would be fun. I would like Samuel Lowry. I think that would be a perfect, not even just because of the finish aspect, but he would just be a great star, I think. I'm kind of shocked that Lowry hasn't gone yet, though. Like, he to me, I think is just a really, really good projectable piece. What do you think about Gleb Pukichuk to the Habs? Really good third-line player for the future. One of the most violent, physical players in this class. So refined in that aspect. Good speed, good forechecking. I wouldn't expect too much high-end skill, or at least consistently. Because I think, again, my main complaint is that there's so many times where he'll be on a rush and the puck will just slip off his stick. And it's like, oh, really? But I think he's interesting. Yuri Ivanov. He went above Boruchev? Boruchev still on the board is kind of wild to me. Yuri Ivanov, though, goes, which is intriguing. I mean, I like him. I like him. He's pretty young for the class as a goalie. Pretty fast, but, like, over Boruchev. Over Boruchev. Also, just a goaltender in general for the Bruins is a little bit crazy, considering what they've given Swayman. Over Boruchev. I mean, the Canes have a chance at Boruchev now. The Oilers have a chance at Boruchev at 58. Been such a fun offseason. Exactly, dude. It's been so wild. And I've been loving every second of it. Parker Trottier has to be an Islander. Pick him in the 7th round, I think. Just waking up from my slumber. How did the first round go for the Sharks? Horrible. Yeah, no, they picked nobody good. Nobody good. Stenberg overrated. Gerhoff overrated. Lynn, small. That's the direct quote from the Chicago Blackhawks, by the way. It's their front office. No, they are the winners of the draft, pretty much. What do you think of LaSalle at 60, Grav? I'd like him a lot. I like him a lot for the Leafs. I don't think LaSalle is going that high. I think he's like a 4th, 5th round pick at best because of his size, but I would like it. I would like it. How is Adam Nets not drafted yet? He has better stats than a lot of the guys drafted until now. I'll tell you, not really much of a projection. He's hard to get a handle on because he has some interesting skill, but not enough to be a top 6 guy, and the floor there, I think, is pretty massive. So I think he's somebody that I'm not shocked is still available. Though I could see the Canes taking him. Grav, can you give me some hopes for the Flames' second? All seem like weird picks. Harrington. Oh, I mean, I will say, I think there's a lot of projectability in the picks that they made. The first 2, at least. Harrington, I think, could be a really interesting 4th line guy. Maybe has potential at 3rd line, but I'm not sure if I quite see that offense. Trable is, to me, the second best goalie of the draft. So it's like 42nd overall isn't offensive. It's just weird with Dustin Wolff there, you know? Shaklishkamov, I don't know what I can tell you. Interesting ceiling, but I think the ceiling and floor golf is so massive to me. At 55, again, it's not an offensive range for me, but it's quite a bit early, I'll say. Is Carolina going to trade back again? Is Carolina... Are they going to trade back again? Get real. Come on, guys. Just make a pick already. Thank you for the live stream, Grav. I appreciate it, Block. Grav, what do you think the Jets will target for the rest of this draft? I mean, probably size, considering they drafted Vigo Bjork, I'd imagine. Nikki with the 10 Canadian. Great streams. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nikki. I appreciate ya. Can we get some Nikki hype in the chat? Absolutely deserved. Our last donator is now Nikki. Thank you for the 10. Absolutely legendary right there. My man coming through. Sharks glazing, Hawks slander, daring today, aren't we? I mean, I like their second rounders. Also, I'm just saying that the Hawks don't like the Sharks doing well. Are you more high on Schmitz after seeing him be picked 5th? No. I mean, I mentioned this before, Gabe, and not to disrespect the question or anything. It is an interesting question. I think if you change your opinion based on where a prospect goes, you should be automatically discredited as an evaluator. You should not have an NHL team selecting a guy more or less, like maybe slightly. Like, let's say I have a guy first overall and he goes in the 7th round, then sure. But like, barring a situation like that, you got to go on what you've seen, on what you know about these guys, and you got to hold firm and steady. You can't let what the NHL teams dictate. Logan Stankoven was a 2nd round pick. And I had Logan Stankoven ranked top 20, top 15 in my rankings back in 2021. If I let him going in the 2nd round affect my opinion on him, who would I have been? But I know what I saw in Logan Stankoven. I know what I saw every single game I watched out of him, and I knew he was going to be an NHL player. And lo and behold, look what he's become. It's situations like that. You never know. Teams could be right. Teams could be wrong. I've never, ever changed my opinion on a guy because of that. Oh, Montreal trades up to 57th overall. Holy. The Habs have traded up. Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. Who do the Habs have on their eyes on? Red Wings, thank you for the 279. Does Dylan Larkin
end up in Dallas?
I could see it. I could see it. Thank you for the donation, though, Red Wings. Timmy Runso. Interesting swing. Okay. Okay. I can see the vision here. I can see the vision. Overager in the WHL this year. I think he's a smart player. I think the interesting part is, what does he become? That's kind of my question. But I can understand. I know a lot of teams were pretty high on Runso this year with his size, right shot D, and the just improvement that we saw in the WHL this year. I mean, he was playing in the NAHL last year, comes to Victoria, puts up big numbers with Verhoff gone. I'm intrigued. The projection was always a bit murky for me. I wasn't quite sure what he was going to be, which is kind of a reason why he wasn't in my top 80. But I can understand if you're liking the offense out of him and the size component. Runso is intriguing. Very intriguing. Not what I would have picked, but I can see the vision. All right, Edmonton at 58. Who is on the board here for the Oilers? They made the pick already. Rudolph's Brolskons. Okay. I like that. I like that for the Oilers. Brolskons, I think it could just be a really intriguing bottom 6 piece, especially out the middle. Brolskons was ranked 45th on my board. He goes 58. Man, I would have liked him on the Stars. That would have been a good pick. Dang, man. Borchev still available. That's surprising me. Brolskons, really good defensive work ethic. This is somebody that just works hard, very adaptable. Oh, the Stars were making the pick already? But yeah, I like Brolskons a lot for the Oilers. Oh, Jakubanichek. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm lower on Vanacek, as you guys can tell. But another lefty? Why? Like, maybe this is like in the future, like the backup plan for if like a Liam Bichsel gets picked in the expansion draft or something. I'm lower on Vanacek. I think the defensive floor is interesting, but I really don't see much creativity there. Good goal scorer. I like his shot. The hope is that he could become like a bottom pair penalty kill guy. So I guess it's interesting insurance. I wish they went for a bit more of a swing at 49, considering their prospect pool. But it could be fine. I just don't know why they went for a left D. Like that's the last thing we need, dog. Heiskanen, Lindell, Bichsel, like it's a pick. It's a pick, as Cheller says, for sure. And I like that somebody mentioned, I do like that he's going for Western Michigan. That's a good place to kind of develop your physical game. But I don't think that's what he's developing is the issue. Like, I think it's the on-puck play. It's kind of the adaptability defensively. Because I think there is a defensive floor there, but I do think his processing is a bit slow. And I don't think he's just not a very fast player in general, whether it is his skating or his processing. So, I don't know. I mean, it is a check. The Stars love their checks, so I'm not surprised. The Leafs at 60. Let's see who they go for. Alexander Bielecki. Okay. That's a fun pick. Okay. 60, Bielecki. I like that a lot. Bielecki was, let's see. Where was he on my board? Bielecki was 51st on my board. He goes 60th at the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a good pick, though. This is a good pick. With the skating that Bielecki has, that affords him so many opportunities. He really grew throughout the season, though, for Kitchener. He was really leading he likes to lead the rush. He likes to get involved in transition. This is something that is just pure aggression all the time. That can bite him a lot, and I think defensively there is a lot of rawness to his game because he's one of these guys, I mean, kind of needs that space to step up to really be impactful. He can kind of coast in the background if he's not getting those puck touches. But if he is getting those puck touches, he can be a wizard out there. And I think could be a really interesting high-tempo pick. So at 60th overall, that's a fun pick, I think, for the Leafs to make, especially for what their pool needs. Bielecki has a puck-moving D. I like that. I like it. Next up, we have Carolina. Just announced the trade back already. just announced the trade back already. Bielecki's a fun pick. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I think for the Leafs especially, they needed some excitement on the defense. You bring it in Bielecki, I'm not mad about that at all. Let's see. Grav, remember the chances of playing any more than a handful of games is low, and if they do make it, it'll probably be 4 or 5 years. Oh, 100%. No, I'm not guaranteeing anything with these guys. Mostly it comes down at this range to like the value proposition. Like what could you potentially add to your team? And I will take a Bielecki over a Vanacek every single day of the week. Every single day. Like Vanacek I think is fine. Like I think but he just the thing is for me, and it's just like a value proposition for teams. It's like, do you go for the surer bet? And Vanacek I think is a surer bet than Bielecki for sure. But there is a difference there between what you could potentially get in a Bielecki. And I think the difference there is like the best case scenario, I think, for Vanacek is that he's a fine third pair defenseman. That's, I think, the upside. Oh, boy. The Canes get Weego Sorensen. Bro. This is just so Carolina. This is the most Carolina pick that has ever Carolina, man. The only thing that can make this more Carolina is if Sorensen was a Russian. But Sorensen was 74th on my board. I have some concerns over the translatability. And he played like Division 2 in Sweden this year. But this is a guy that just has unrelenting skill, man. Unrelenting skill. We saw it at the U18s. He could just work out there and just make some plays that just leave you mystified. 61st, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Now the Flyers at 62. Love the Snoopy shirt. Thank you, Philip. I appreciate it. It's one of my favorites. I'll say that. All right, we're starting to see some names that I'm shocked are going this high. Another goaltender is off the list, and Martin Pozicek. Pozlevic? I've never even said his name out loud. That is shocking. Over Dmitry Borichev? Even like a Brady Noling. But yeah, great at the U18s for the Czechs. I remember that. So I guess you're betting on that. But yeah, he was playing U20 in the Czech league this last year. Good size. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched him outside of the U18s, but I liked him there. Good speed for his size, but that's small sample size for me. In terms of the rating, 17th among European. By the way, he was ranked 17th among European goalies, and he goes ahead of Borichev. Very interesting. By the way, Vegas's pick is forfeited, so we'll get to the Rangers at 64th overall. Next up here, Ben McBeth goes to the Rangers at 64. That is a good pick right there, ladies and gentlemen. McBeth was ranked 43rd on my board, and he goes 64th to the Rangers. McBeth is just pure skating. That seems to be a bit of a trend here for the Rangers here in this draft. They go for Schmitz, fluid skater. McBeth, the same way. He is someone that loves to be up in the offensive zone, loves to dangle, loves to mystify on the blue line. Even if he doesn't have the greatest skill in the world, he's able to do it because of his deception and his skating ability. Good quarterback on the power play, too. I have my worries over the defensive engagement, but I think with his size, you could get past that. But I think McBeth is just a super active guy on the back end. And with the skating ability, there's a lot to look out for here. So I think at 64, that's a fun bet. That's a fun bet for the Rangers and another skating first defenseman, which I think for that team, they kind of need a bit more of. So I'm not mad about it. Not mad about it at all. All right, let me update the picks here since we had quite a few more. So to end the second round, ladies and gentlemen, to end the second round, we had Timothy Rudso, Burles Collins, Vanacek, Bilecki, Sorensen, Pozlevic, I'm pretty sure, and Ben McBeth. Not a bad last for pick. I'll say that. I'll say that. On to the third round. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So in terms of my best players available as we get into the third round, again, it has really thinned out for me personally. The best is Adam Valentini by a pretty clear margin. He was ranked 38th on my board, but I'm not surprised to see him dropping with the decision to skip out on the Kitchener Rangers. That'll haunt some. Like, honestly, if Valentini drops like the fourth round, I wouldn't be surprised. Samu Alalari, I'm shocked, is available at the third round. He was ranked 48th for me. William Lassell was ranked 49th, but I'm not surprised. He's a smaller goaltender. Thomas Sharenko was ranked 50th for me. He's still available. Adam Anderson, I'm also shocked wasn't a second rounder. Big center with some potential. Georgios Pantelis, I'm surprised, is available too. I ranked him 53rd. I thought he was going to be like a mid-second rounder. But I'm not mad that he's a third round pick. I can see the reasoning. Luke Shire, still available. Good passer for a big D. Pierce Buey, Lars Steiner, Thomas Vandenberg, Igor Rybkin as a goaltender, Charlie Morrison, Ryder Fedorov, and Mikey Burchild as my next few. No, Morrison has not gotten picked either, which also pretty surprising to me. I don't know, Lying Bros. You'll have to take that up with Elite Prospects. Why do we get a goalie? We don't need that. Who? The Bruins, I mean, there was a good amount of goalies selected in that first round. Yeah, I'm just shocked. I'm shocked in general of how the goaltending has gone in this round in general. Not that Trable went first, that makes tons of sense. But Borichev, still on the board in the third round. Very intriguing. Bedsy, what's going on? Good to see you in the chat. Welcome. Thoughts on the Flyers pick at 62? I'm gonna be honest. He's the player in this second round I've watched the least, probably. I liked him at the U18s, but good size, good speed for his size. I don't know if I love the makeup, the refinement in his game, but Philly goes for the size, really, at the end of the day. Not not who I would have taken. I'll say that. If I had to rank like a full 7-round mock draft, he probably wouldn't even be considered for me until like the 6th round, I would say. Grav, will you be here for the whole draft, or does your mom have chores for you to do, like more than lawn? I'm out of the basement, dog. I'm out of the basement. Sorry to say. Calgary picked another goalie at 42. Now we have 5 minor league goalies. Yeah, that's just so strange to me. I mean, I know they like to dribble a ton, but I just don't. With the options available, I just don't know. I just don't know about it. But yeah, thank you guys for coming in for the Day 2 NHL Draft live stream presented by Prize Picks. Whoa! Joe Ginla to Calgary, and then Semu Alalari to Chicago. Holy crap. Wow. Joe Ginla is a 3rd-round pick, and the Flames get after him, man. That is sick. You know what? That is sick. That's another fun story. I liked Joe Ginla this year. I think he could be a 4th liner in the future. Good determination in his game. Solid positioning offensively. 3rd round is a bit much for me, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And they get the Ginla, of course, which makes things even more interesting. And then the Blackhawks getting Semu Alalari. I love that pick for them, man. Their D picks today have been sensational. Semu Alalari was ranked 48th on my board, and he goes 66 to Chicago. Really smart defensive player. Good skater, fluid, and is just a super safe in the right way type of D. But I think at 66, that's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer for the Blackhawks. Big day for them. With Villeneuve and Alalari, I like that a lot. The rank... Deny Shaikov? Okay, these goalie picks are freaking me out. These goalie picks are freaking me out. That is fascinating. If you told me that Deny Shaikov would go ahead of Dmitry Borachev. Shaikov, by the way, is an overager goalie this year. Same size as Borachev. And put up a 903 save percentage in the QMJHL this year. Not that he's a bad goalie. I'm just shocked that Shaikov went this high. He's a year older than Borachev. Same size as Borachev. Was ranked as the 14th North American skater in terms of goaltending. Did Borachev again, like, piss on somebody's grandma? Like, what is happening? what is happening, man? That is shocking. But also, like, why were the Rangers selected goaltender? I don't know. And not Borachev. Like, what did he do? What did this man do? Now we're on to Carolina at 68th overall, then Toronto, then Nashville, then Winnipeg with the next few picks afterwards. That's the thing so far. This draft has mostly been, I think, really good value, and a lot of my guys have gone early, except the goaltenders. But it's not even like, oh, you know, like I like a William LaSalle, but he's small and he goes later in the draft. I expected that, but like Brady Noling, I don't think is good. I'm just telling you right now, I don't think is good, but I heard was a lock for the 2nd round, a lock, and he's still available on the board. Like, all the guys that were, like, high-rated players for Central Scouting are pretty much unanimously available besides Trable. Like, these are some swings on the goaltending side. And I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked that some of these guys are available. But we are seeing a run of goaltending in this 3rd round. Zachary Lansard. Okay, Carolina. Not again. That's a surprising one for me. I didn't predict Lansard as a Carolina guy, but he's an intriguing pick for the Pats this year. I liked his skill ceiling. This is another one that I think is kind of a bit inconsistent with the flow of the game, but I like how he plays. He's a pretty determined guy. 68th overall is higher than where I would have had him, but I can see the vision. I can see the vision here. Though I feel like that's a guy you maybe could have just traded back for, but I'll let Carolina do that. Hawkinson to Carolina is sick. Yeah, for sure. Realistic ceiling on Galvis. I could see him being a Jordan Spence type player if he pans out. Really efficient, smaller D, good skater, good offensive game. But I don't think he's much more than that at his ceiling still. Yeah, Morrison still being available is shocking to me. Pantelis is still being available is shocking to me. But Lansford is high tempo. Not surprised the Canes would make a pick like that. Now we're on to the Leafs at 69th overall, ladies and gentlemen. Who are we thinking? I mean, Dmitry Borochev. That would be sick. I don't think so though. I would expect like a Pantelis pick here. Adam Anderson, I wouldn't be surprised. Adam Anderson, I wouldn't be surprised after Tinas Kloblar last time. Oh, Ethan McKenzie. Ethan McKenzie is the pick here for the Leafs. Not bad. Not bad, I will say. If you're going to go for an overager, McKenzie is one of the most projectable ones, I think. Strong puck mover. Just a really smart D all over the ice. There's a reason why he was on the Canadian team of the World Juniors this year. Not bad. Not bad. Especially when you look at that defense, I like what they've gone for in Bilecki and McKenzie so far. Especially in that range. Like, I think that's perfectly fine. I had McKenzie ranked 65th, and he goes 69th. So, not a major difference there. We'll see you later, Jasmine. Thank you so much for hopping on. Ryder Ritchie to Detroit. Is there an actual trade? Prez now on the clock. They've gone for some fun swings so far with Tommy Blale. I'm curious what they do here. I think I predicted we go Sorensen or somebody to this spot. But not on the board. Oh, Dmitry Borochev. There he goes. Bro. What a draft for the Preds, man. Are you kidding me? That is strong value. Hey, Reese with a $7 donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, Flames, what is the biggest
wow.
we should expect this offseason?
That is a good pick. That is a good pick. For you guys that don't know, Dmitry Borochev was my #1 ranked goaltender on my board. Not by a massive amount. Trable was a few picks below. But Borochev was ranked 46th on my board. He goes 70th overall to Nashville. And especially if they might trade a UC Saros in the future, Borochev is some nice replacement quality there. So, with his size, I think he's just so refined, so skilled, has speed to boot. I think he just has so much potential to give. Great year in Russia. Make a Russian goalie bet. I mean, they did it pretty well with Askarov until they traded him. So I'm very curious about that. But at 70, that is a slam dunk move for the Prez, man. What a draft for them. What a draft. But thank you so much for the donation, Reese. I appreciate you big time, man. Yeah, just for the Preds, I mean, going back to what they did earlier. 10, they go for Wyatt Cullen as a big swing. 31, they go for Tommy Blale as a big swing on the defensive side. And then they go for Borochev as a big swing on the goaltending. I love that. Oh, and Winnipeg goes for another goaltender in Samuel Rennick. Not surprised. Not surprised to see him around this range. He's an interesting one. He's an interesting one. Another one that I wouldn't have taken this early, but I did hear a lot of chatter that he could go a lot higher. But solid size at 6'3". I know that I know the elite prospects liked him a lot. Good for the Slovaks of the U18s. Good in the games he played as well in the USHL for Fargo. I don't hate this pick necessarily. Rennick was like just outside of like my top goaltenders of the class, but I can see the potential here. I really can. It was just hard to get a read on him earlier in the year because he was playing like second tier in Slovakia and not really putting up great results. And then goes to the USHL and plays phenomenally. So we'll see. But interesting bet there for the Jets. Interesting bet to make a goaltender pick as well in the 3rd round. Let's see. Huge Grav likes the Preds. Dude, I think it's a fantastic draft for them so far. I'm loving it. Oh, so Bolaren, you're just kind of a strange little man. I'm gonna hide you, brother. Goodbye. The Sens pick Adam Nemets at number 72. Intriguing. They get Simone Nemets' brother and Adam. I like the goal scoring. The size component is there too. I think he's a bit of a fade in, fade out player. That's kind of my issue with Nemets, but there is some skill to tap into there, I think, at 72. This is around the range I had him. I had him outside of my top 80, but was pretty much just outside of it. So like 10 picks ahead. It's not a major difference. But I can see what the Sens like him. Probably still a pretty average pick for me, though, I would say. The mess is interesting, though, at 72. Could pop. Hey, David, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for dropping in. Flames drafting kind of crappy this year. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I've loved it. Joe Aginla is fun. I mean, I like their first round picks. I will say I really like their first round. It was just really good across the board with Hextall and Cowrells, but it's a bit more hit or miss after this, I will say. Like, it's not that the ideas are bad, or it's not that the players are bad they're selecting. It's just like the fits I don't quite see for Ottawa. But Toronto at 73. Let's see what they have up themselves. They got McKenna at 1, Blecky 60, McKenzie at 69th. I've really liked their draft so far, actually. Lots of pace. Bring some pace to the Leafs, man. They need it. Let's see if they can continue that. I mean, if you want some pace, Valentini would be sick. Absolutely sick here. Anybody else? Adam Anderson again. I think Adam Anderson could really make sense for Toronto. I'm pretty sure same junior team as Tinas Luke Koblar, who they selected in last year's class, was looking pretty good for them. Let's see. 73 in Toronto. What do the Leafs got in store for us? Zach Olsen. Okay. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick whatsoever. Zach Olsen, I'm surprised even is available here. But at 73, Zach Olsen was somebody I ranked 77th on my board. But I love the intensity. This is just a pure dog in every sense of the word, man. He loves to use his speed, loves to use his skating to get up there in the zone, but is so good at retrieving pucks. Just has so much energy to his game. I don't think there's like high-level skill necessarily, but this is just somebody that brings all energy all the time. So at 73, I like that bet a lot for the Leafs. Just a solid draft, man. Very solid draft for Toronto. I like this a lot, man. I think it's just real good across the board. Now we have the Avs on the clock at 74th. They went for Igor Shilov earlier. We'll see if they go for another high-tempo pick. Wouldn't surprise me if they go for Adam Valentini. Wouldn't surprise me. They went after Gavin Brindley. Similar player, also coming out of Michigan. Can't wait to see Max Plant playing with his brother in Grand Rapids. Oh, those two are going to be sick. Victor is going to be sick, man. I love that pick for the Wings. Love it. If you were to bet, where do you think Robo ends up? Carolina. I have no basis or rumor on that, but I could just see it happening. Beckett Hamilton goes to the Colorado Avalanche. Okay. I mean, a similar range to where I would have had him. I don't believe I had him in my top 80. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was like, he would have been like, for my rankings, I only had a top 80. He would have been 82nd. So just outside of it. A smaller forward, but I love how adaptable he is. This is somebody that I think, especially in a power play penalty kill role, he could just play in a lot of different scenarios. And with how heads up his game is, how smart he is, I think there's an interesting player here. Very, very interesting player here. Not as much of a high upside swing as Igor Shilov necessarily, but Beckett Hamilton to Colorado at 74. I don't hate that. I don't hate that whatsoever. Now on to the Blues at 75, who've had a really intriguing draft to say the least. Yeah, with Borchev off the board, Adam Valentini is still my best player available by now a pretty clear... Yeah, Valentini at 38 is my best player available in terms of my personal rankings. Afterwards, you have to go to 49 and William Lysell, who I think could be waiting quite a while as a smaller goaltender. But the Blues at 75. Let's see. Luke Shire. Okay. Pretty solid pick there for the Blues on top of that. Ranked 55th on my board. Luke Shire goes 75th. I can understand that he dropped a little bit, but a big D that I think has a pretty good passing ability. Coming out of the NCDP this year, I like him quite a bit. I think there's still a ways to go in terms of defensive refinement, but this is something that with his size, with his skating, with his passing ability, could be a really intriguing bottom pair defenseman. I think he settles out more as a defensive D, but At 75, I like that quite a bit for a Blues team that maybe wants some more surety, potentially. But I like it. I like it for them. I like it for them. Especially in this range. Where do you think Morrison will go? I mean, at this point, I don't even know. I could see the Rangers liking him at 77, potentially. Leonard's Feldberg's drafted today. That'd be fun. I'm interested where Patrick Plumans goes after his after all of his hype. Adam Valentini to Detroit, playing for Michigan right now. That would not surprise me. That would not. I mean, they already went for JP Hurlbert, who's another Michigan guy. Toronto just needs to pick a whole team of hometowners that want to play there. I mean, pick the best players available, man. I don't think for Toronto the issue is them people don't want to play there. Like, the issue is that they haven't been picking the best players and they're not a great team. Like, I think the media thing gets overblown, personally. I think Toronto and Montreal are like the team, like the Canadian teams that people want to play for. Especially Montreal. But in Toronto's case, like, I don't think they're in a position where they can afford to pick just off of one province in one country. That'd be pretty foolish in my opinion. All right, the Leafs on the clock at 76. Let's see who they go for here. Måns Gudmundsson. Okay, I can see it. I can see it. This was another guy that was like just outside of my top 80. But Gudmundsson, I thought could have been a second-round pick. Maybe, if San Jose kept that pick and didn't take a right D, I could have seen it. But Gudmundsson, I think, is an interesting one. Doesn't have the greatest skating to him. I think he's just a bit unrefined, a bit clunky at times. But this is somebody that I think has a good defensive floor, good foundation, good fundamentals. I think he's somebody that can, at times, keep things a bit too basic. But if you want a bottom-pair defenseman, a right D with some size, Gudmundsson, I don't think, is horrible in that aspect. I mean, Toronto's already gone for a bunch of swings. I think Gudmundsson is more of a protectable piece. Ain't that bad. Ain't that bad. Another pick that I like for Toronto. Crazy. This is shaping out to be maybe the best Leafs draft that I've ever witnessed live. What round would you have thought Vanecek would have been drafted? The second round for sure, Nancy. I was expecting earlier in the second. Oh, Morrison to the Rangers. Did I call that a couple minutes ago, by the way? Morrison goes to the Rangers. Another player like Gudmundsson that just has a solid defensive floor to him. He goes 77. I ranked Morrison 60th overall. So pretty solid value, I think, there for the Rangers. Another guy that I don't think is more than a bottom pair defenseman, but I think it's just pretty simple, pretty refined, physically, he just is a wrecker out there at times too. So I think he's something that with his growth in the QMJHL, I think could fit out really well into a bottom pair for the Rangers. Not bad. Not bad. The Rangers also, I mean, Morrison isn't as much of a skater. He has a good strength to him, but I wouldn't say he's a fast one. But in general, they're drafting better skating defensemen, which is really intriguing for them. Have all three of their picks been D so far, by the way? Do we know? By the way, we got 1,500 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. The Canucks go for a goaltender in Dmitry Avchenko. These goaltender picks. These goaltender picks, man, are really getting me. Really getting me. But also, 78th overall, not that surprising. He was a lot higher ranked than some of the other guys, so I could see it. Good size, though. I liked him in the MHL this season. Not another one that wasn't like a top guy for me necessarily, but in that kind of like 6 to 15 range in terms of the goaltending. And I don't think 78 is bad either. For his size, pretty athletic. Has good, especially when it comes to the edge work. That's what I think really makes me the most intrigued when it comes to Ivchenko. So 78, why not? I guess. Why not? Eddie, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. All right, Detroit is on the clock at 79th overall. Let's see who they go for. Yeah, refreshing everything. We got Shire, Gudmundsson, Morrison, and Ivchenko. All right, Detroit, what do you got for me? You made some interesting picks so far. The Flaunt one was amazing. We'll see what else they got. Valentini? Maybe? Michael Orszalak. Another goaltender. Now, Orgelock is very highly rated. I'm less of a fan, personally, and I'm kind of surprised that he was available this late. I kind of was expecting him as like maybe a late second, early third. But big size and a solid season for Prince Albert. I just think he was on a stacked team. Like, just an unbelievable team. I don't really like him at the U20s, but he was kind of he's playing U20s as a draft eligible goaltender. I'll give him a little bit of a break on it. For his size, I just don't know if I like the processing. He has, and there are just moments where I think he's just a bit out of position. A bit too much for my liking, but he has some good moments here and there. He has some good moments. 79th, though, for a team like Detroit, like you have so many goaltenders still. After the Costa trade, you still have so many goaltenders. Who is the best goalie left? For me, it's William Lassell. Also Ryder Federer, but they're both smaller goalies, so I'm not surprised they're both available. But yeah, Orgelock in this range makes sense. I just don't. Why Detroit? Like, you have so many good goaltending. So much good goaltending. So, like, why the heck did Calgary trade up for a goalie? No need to. Yeah, that's what I don't understand at all. Like, that's what I don't understand at all for me personally. I know that they like Trable a lot, but like, you have Dustin Wolff. Like, I know you want some insurance, and it's never bad to have it, but like, just a little bit much for me. Yeah, the goalies are going like wildfire, which I'm not really too surprised by. The goalies, I think, are really balanced in this class, and I think you're kind of seeing that show up today. Sermon King with a 2. Kings will trade for Trocheck or maybe Elias Pettersson. Pettersson would be fun.
Kings will trade for Trocheck or maybe Elias P.
That would be really fun. But I would say maybe Trocheck is more likely considering who the Kings like. I would be willing to guess. But I don't know at this point if it actually happens. Yeah, no trades so far in terms of big guys. Brandon Carlo was dealt to the Blues for 2 third-round picks. So we will see that come into play. But I believe, yeah, the Blues used the first one on Luke Shire, which I believe is what they're at 75th. Yeah, when it came to the trade itself, in the case of Carlo, it was pick 73 and 76, or to Toronto. So Olsen was the first pick of that deal, and then Måns Gudmundsson was the second pick, which I think is pretty strong. I mean, I think Gudmundsson at his best could become Carlo-like, and Olsen I think could be an interesting fourth line piece in the future for sure. With his energy, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets there. By the way, I'm watching the Canadian feed. For everybody that's watching in Canada on Sportsnet, are these Bet365 ads blatantly AI, or am I going crazy? Because it looks brutal. And then Tyler with the $2. Thank you so much. Worst pick so far of the draft? Worst pick? Going through it. The worst pick of the draft, I mean, Solovek at 62nd, I don't love. I feel Lagerberg Hohen, though, at 25 is just... I think it is Sokolowski still at 27, though, for me. Like, I just don't like the player. I just don't see a lot of potential there, and 27 I think is ridiculous, even though he could have gone even higher than that. Whoa, a run on picks. Blake Zielinski goes to the Kings. I like that. Thomas Scherenka to the Kings, or to the Rangers. I also like that. And then at number 82 is Ryan Chudzinski. By the way, really unfortunate name there for him. But 3 pretty interesting picks. First is Blake Zielinski. A lot of skill there. In the USHL, put up good production, 55 points, 53 games. The question will be, how is he able to round out everything? But I like it at 80. Scherenko at 81, I think is good value for the Rangers, man. Really good value. Excellent production in Slovakia this last year. 31 points in 44 games against high-level competition. Scherenko is similarly to Zielinski, though, where there's a lot of talent, a lot of potential. On the power play, he is unbelievable as a finisher. I worry about the projection what is going to be when the speed gets ramped up. He is a smaller player that doesn't have the greatest skating, but the wizardry with the puck on his stick is there. And at 81, I will take that bet every single day of the week. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Easily. Yeah, Valentini is easily the best player on the board too. They're 100%, 1000% AI. Okay, yeah, cause it's brutal, genuinely brutal. And you guys know how anti AI I am. I think the worst thing you could possibly do as a business is to associate yourself with AI, because if you aren't going to put effort to make an actual ad, why would anybody trust whatever you make? Genuinely. If you can't pay like $200 to get a couple actors, why would I give you my money? Like, you're the scum of the earth, genuinely. So like, why would I use your app? Like, genuinely, Anyways, Nick with the $2 donation. Thoughts on the Blues last 2 days? Pretty solid. McTavish is an interesting ad. I like especially Lawrence at 11. But in general, they've done just fine. Just fine. Especially the Lawrence pick. I think that's really good for them. But thank you for the $2 donation, Nick. I appreciate it. Yeah. FAI. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to all my homies who like real art. Real art. And damn it, a cheesy commercial with actual actors who are being cheesy, take that 1000% over an AI ad that looks disgustingly saturated with like these awkward zoom ins. You guys all know what I'm talking about. Like person in the middle of the frame with like a zoom in into their face, or with a reaction that like stays for like 5 seconds and they go like, and then it cuts to another one as it zooms back in. Like, that 365 commercial was so obvious. So obvious. By the way, we do get a trade here at 83rd overall. Minnesota is moving up to the 83rd position, and they'll trade 89 and 153rd overall. So the Wild have something up their sleeve here. Doug Methodical, thank you for the two. Appreciate the hustle, keeping us informed. I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry. And yo, we'll be live here for the rest of the third round. Appreciate you guys all dropping by. Heck, even maybe if Adam Valentini keeps falling, I might have to stick around for the fourth round. What are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking? But thank you for the dono. I appreciate it. We got 1,500 in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been one heck of a stream so far. I mean, Valentini, Minnesota. I'll just say it. I'll just say it. Adam Anderson. Okay. Okay. I like that pick a lot for the Wild. I like that pick for a while for sure. That is a very fun bet. For me, Adam Anderson was ranked 52 on my board, and he goes 83rd to the Wild. This is an intriguing center option, though. Big size, uses his body well, protects the puck well, and over the course of the season in the junior 20, showed a lot more offense than there was at the beginning. He's not much of a puck carrier, I don't think, but he's a smart guy, puts himself in good spots, especially around the net. I think as a net front, third line center potentially, I could see Anderson potentially becoming that. Or even just a fourth line guy, I could see. Malcolm Gastreen goes to the Oilers. Interesting pick there. I like this brother a lot more in Milton, but Malcolm's still a fun one. And then the Leafs come up at 85th overall. What would you want your favorite team to do right now, Grav? Not trade Robertson. Sign Robertson at $12 million. Come on, Jason. You know you want to sign it. Sign it on the dotted line. If they don't care about their ads, they don't care about their business. Oh, so true. Great way to put it. Great way to put it. It's the same thing with those like stupid AI Coca-Cola commercials and everything. Like just admit that you're a processed piece of crap at that point. Like just put it in the commercial in your script that you do not care about the quality of your product. Because if you don't care about the quality of your marketing, you definitely are not going to care about the quality of your product. And I just think it is such a just unbelievable and shameful direction to go to. Not like, again, a normal Coca-Cola ad is high art, but at least they're trying. At least they're trying. But like, if you do, what's the effort in prompting something in 5 seconds and then letting it fly? Like, obviously, it's more complicated than that. People these days have AI prompt jobs. I want to dunk them in the toilet. Fucking nerds. not to go too crazy with the naughty words, but nerds. Daniel with the 3 Canadian, thank you so much. Appreciate it for the first donation on the live stream, my man. And then Ryan with the $5, just where the stream was getting busy getting the Sharks 2029 Cup ready. Greer ran a drafting clinic. Yep.
Greer ran a drafting clinic yesterday.
You're not wrong.
It's our time now. Much love.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The Sharks are about to be the hottest dynasty on earth, baby. The hottest dynasty. 85th overall of the Leafs. How about you all just admit you're scared of the future? This is the boomers I've ever heard. Eat your slop up. Eat your slop up, baby. Eat your slop up. Oh, goo goo gaga. I love my AI slop. Feed it to me. That's all I want. I don't want any taste or flavor or sauce or anything. Just I love my AI slop. Oh, mommy, I love my AI slop. My name is Tripsy. I love my Trippy. I love my AI slop. Oh, feed it to me, please. That's what you sound like. That's what you sound like, bro. I hope you enjoy your $2,000 PlayStation 6. I hope you enjoy it, dog. That's what you're wishing for. I hope you enjoy your $5,000 computer that's been out of date for like 10 years. I hope you love it, dog. I hope you love it. 85th overall to Toronto. Is this gonna get traded? Is it gonna get traded? Whoa, okay. Oh no. It's a goalie pick. So Adesso, another guy I've not actually said out loud before. Intriguing. I'm okay. Can I be real honest with you guys? Can I be real honest? I've not watched this year. I think that's the first time. The first one. And it's not a slight to the Leafs. I could see the size, and Elite Prospects ranks him pretty high. It's just he's playing in the junior 20 in Finland, you know? Like, that's the only thing. I personally haven't seen him, so I'm not going to say anything about him. But the size is there. And the Leafs also have taken some massive swings. So it's like you go for a goaltender, I can understand it. Even though William Lassell would have been so interesting. Oh, Pierce Buey for the Penguins at 86. Okay. Pierce Buey at 86. That is interesting, man. That is interesting. I like that a lot for the Penguins. Now, for me personally, Buey was kind of all over the place for me. I had him like late first at a point, but slipped more into my second round. He ranked 56 for me. He goes 86, so 30 points after. That's not bad. That's not bad whatsoever. I like that pick. I like that pick a lot for the Penguins. He's a bit of a no man's land player for me. Great effort, great energy. And I think he has some good finishing ability. It's just a matter of like, is it enough for his size? Because he is a smaller player, a slider guy, but he loves to make some big hits every now and again. The effort level is there. He's a leader in a lot of ways. So I think at 86, that I could see. That I could see. Quite solid. I'm happy all 3 WHL Giants players have been drafted. That is huge. That is huge. Did not expect Gravstream to be an AI dunk session, but I'm here for it. Ottawa 87. Okay, which 6'3" European are they drafting? Let's see. Which 6'3" European are they going to draft? Put your predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Out of the options, I could see like a Brady Wassel in here, maybe. This is the part of the draft where I'm like, I have no idea how it's gonna go. Who the heck knows? Jonas Silverton, maybe. Maybe. Buey is also the highest player in the draft, tied with Villeneuve. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But I mean, he's pretty active physically, which is kind of fun. If he can add some more muscle, the weird part though, I would love for him. Is he going to Penn State next year or the year after? Okay, he's going to Penn State next year. That's big. That's big. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty. Or well, no. I thought I heard something that he would stay for another season. I'm not quite sure. But I think the NCAA will be big for him. I'll just say that. I'm on Elite Prospects. Yannick, this is the... that's the name of the site. Thoughts on the Rangers draft so far? Honestly, pretty intriguing. I mean, they've gone for pure skating ability from their defensemen, which I can understand it. Schmitz with Oscar Holmertz at 87. Okay. Okay. Oscar Holmertz. I like this pick. I like this pick for the Sens. At 87, might not be the biggest guy in the world, but 6'1" still, so he does check that box for Ottawa. But as a centerman, he is intriguing. He is intriguing. He was just at the end of my rankings, 78th overall. He goes 87 to the Sens, so pretty strong value there. This is another one that I just like the skill set. I really like how he's able to put himself out there. The puck handling, the positioning in transition is quite fun to watch. I don't know how much refinement there is, and that's why he was later in my rankings. But there's an interesting package there. There's an interesting package. I think he's one you'll have to be very patient with, though, is the thing. But I think it's intriguing. I think that's very intriguing. Yeah, with the next couple of picks, we got Buey as well as Holmertz. Pretty solid value for both of those guys, I think. Now we got Boston at 88, the Kings at 89, the Lightning at 90, and the Sens at 91. Why the heck did Valentini not go yet? At the end of the day, he's a smaller wing, and in the case of Valentini, he was going to go to the Kitchener Rangers this year of the OHL at the beginning of the year, and before training camp started, like right before training camp started, ended up going to Michigan instead, and basically just leaving the Rangers out to dry. That, I know, pissed off a lot of teams, and genuinely put him, no matter what he did at Michigan, on their do-not-draft lists. I don't know whether that's changed since September, but I don't know if it has for a lot of teams. So there's a few things is the problem. Smaller wing, and did something that a lot of teams don't really like. So I'm not shocked to see him here at all. Cameron with the $2. Who might want Korchinski, and what's the return? At this rate, I mean, the Mets got 2 first-rounders in a second. I could see like a second and a prospect going back, I think, Cameron. Because I still think Korchinski is somewhat valued, but he's still very flawed at this point. Trippy, if you knew how to use AI other than picks, you could leverage this channel a whole hell of a lot better. Trippy, I'd love to see your channel, bud. I'll put you out of here. I don't give a crap about your opinion. I think I'm doing just fine. I do. If your advice is what I would take, I would rather just delete the channel today. 88 is Nils Bartholson. Oh, okay. I like this for the Bruins. Bartholson. I was not really knowing where he was going to go in this class because he's all over the place in terms of consensus, but a very intriguing one. Fantastic goal scorer. That's what you need to know. Like, this is the guy that gets in the right spots, finds space, just a smart player in terms of positioning, and that's where I think you can really take for a while after this. Like, if he's a top 6 guy, somehow, I wouldn't even be that surprised. Like, he has that type of upside. I'm just not sure if he gets there because he, again, a little bit more of a one-dimensional goal scorer, but he has just immense talent with his finishing ability. So I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, someday, this pick looks really good for the Bruins. And at 88, I'm completely fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. This might be a dumb question, but how long will we be streaming the non-first round draft grab? Probably for at least the rest of the 3rd round. We'll see how we go after that. Oh, the Kings get Igor Ryabkin. I mean, the Kings don't need another goaltender. But 89th overall, Igor Ryabkin is a fun pick. That is a fun pick. He was one of my favorite goaltenders of this class. And I'm kind of surprised to see him also go pretty late. He was ranked 59th on my board, and he goes 89th to the Kings. big size. Like, big size. And I think for his size, he's an extremely athletic goaltender. That is enough for me to like him a lot. I don't know where these red flags are coming from a lot of these, like, in Russia goaltenders, because that's usually where you get a lot of talent from. But Ryabkin is a good pick at 89 in terms of pure value. Even that the Kings don't need. They have so many good goaltenders, man. Their entire prospect pool is goaltenders. So fun. Christo, thank you for the $5 donation. My man coming through. Now that the Sabres drafted Rudolph with 4th overall, is it a little easier for the Hawks to stomach the high price for Byram?
Drafted Rudolph with 4 OA. Is it a little easier for the Hawks to stomach the high price for Byram? Give me some reassurance, tears of joy, tears of joy.
I mean, I think so. I think Rudolph's best case scenario is a Byram, personally. Now, does that make up for the fact that they could have had a Reed or a Bjork or a just list your guy here? I don't know. But if we're just going off of who went 4th overall, I would rather have Bowen Byram. Now, you also factor in the second rounder on top of that. Like, the value doesn't line up completely, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Makes it a little bit better for me, I would say, for Chicago. Want to get your thoughts on the Dorofeev trade? I loved it, man. I loved it for the Rangers. You did give up a future first-round pick, but it's top 10 protected, so I think it's fine. The goal scoring, just how creative he is, I think it's just exactly what the Rangers need. The Lightning select Thomas Krevelich. Yeah, that's a Lightning pick. That makes sense for Tampa Bay. That makes sense. As is Solvac D. I'm pretty sure he's an overager, right? Yeah, a 20-year-old Solvac defenseman. It's the most Tampa pick ever made. Genuinely, the most Tampa pick ever made. Now, could it be JJ Moser 2.0? That'll be interesting. Louis Felix Bork? What? Interesting. He's a big wing out of the QMJHL. I like his goal-scoring instincts, I guess. I never really saw much in him. Very intriguing. At 91. When do you expect to have a draft grades video? Probably, I would guess, if we stop streaming here in about like 10 minutes or so, probably like 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, I would imagine. Something like that. But I already have my grades for the first round if you want to watch that, if you haven't already. Who did Boston take? I couldn't hear. They took Bartholson. Really good goal-scoring instincts, especially around the net. He's pretty crafty there. Ottawa, they do make some interesting picks. That is for sure. That is very consistent for Ottawa, I will say that. Very consistent for them. Sure, man. Sure. I mean... Sure. I guess. Montreal is at 93. Vegas is on the clock, though, at 92. And we'll see what they go for here. Grav being thrown off with his sense picks. Feeling pretty common. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I just remember, though, I was not liking the 2021 draft that they had, and... Yeah. I mean, I've liked Sen's picks before. I like the Hensler pick. I love the Blake Montgomery pick. Like, it's not like it's rare. It's impossible for them to draft a guy I like. It's just their scouting staff and me don't typically agree. I will say that philosophically. Who do you think the Habs are getting? Valentini would be sick at 93. I think they'd be one of the teams to take him. I could see like a Lars Steiner potentially, maybe a Landon Ammerheim. He's one that I think could be pretty interesting value around this range. How would you rank Vancouver's draft so far? Pretty solid, I'll get into that in my grades video, but I think they did a pretty good job so far. Hi, sorry I'm not that big of an NHL fan. Can you explain what are the chances of a second, third, or fourth round pick will play at least one game in the NHL? Is it like guaranteed they'll get a shot? Definitely not. Definitely not, Dangeroo. I would say it's more like 50-50 in the second round. Then it starts to kind of taper off after that. More like 20% in the third round, 10% in the fourth round, stuff like that. Benjamin Wilmot to Vegas. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. That's an intriguing pick for sure. He played in the OHL this year for London and then went on to Barrie. Pretty great playoffs, though. Overager guy. But I liked him whenever I watched him. Just not somebody I think is a big needle mover. But who knows? I mean, Vegas has gotten stuff out of Brendan Bowman, so they can find a way with Wilmot, I'm sure. Intriguing. I've liked Toronto's draft a ton today, folks. I've liked them a ton. Like, the skill that they acquired, especially at the top end of this draft, really, really good. The next, I'm going to go with all those Sharks picks. I mean, not wrong. Cooper Cleaves. Not what I was not what I was expecting out of the Habs, but around this range doesn't really surprise me. But yeah, he was a double overager in the USHL this year. I know that he was getting, or double overager in the NCAA, I should say, playing for Dartmouth. Intriguing. I mean, from what I saw out of Dartmouth this year, I thought he fit pretty well into their system. I'm not sure how much he goes beyond that. Because I like the energy at points, but like 93rd. 93rd is a bit rich for me. Like, I'm surprised that Nets went below Cooper Cleaves. But you never know. The Habs do have some good intel on their NCAA guys, especially for like the ECHC. I like Ivchenko. He's not like, I don't think he brings high end potential, but I could see a potential backup there someday for the Canucks. Novotny looks like a player. Oh, yeah. Capital P player. Capital P. Should Columbus relocate? Nah. Their attendance is way too good, man. Way too good. But I appreciate all you guys keeping with us today for the 2026 NHL Draft Stream Day 2, presented by Prize Picks. It's been a really wild last couple of drafts. Second round, I thought, was really good in terms of value all around. Third round has kind of come off the rails a little bit, I think. But that is always bound to be the case. Besides Adam Valentini, I think all of my top 50 guys have gone. Yeah, now that Shranko has been picked, all of my top 50 guys are gone. Or no, William Lassell is still on the board. So 2 guys in my top 50 are still available, in William Lassell as well as Adam Valentini. But both of these guys, like, it's the same thing with Villanova and Preston when they fell. It's like, yeah, I 100% expected that to happen. I'm not going to change my opinion on the players, but it was expected with how NHL teams draft. Georgios Pantelis being available is shocking. I didn't even realize he's still on the board out of Brandon of the WHL. That is shocking to me. Yeah, we got Vegas up on the board here as well as Montreal with back-to-back picks. And now for the next couple of selections, we got Columbus, who is still on the clock. Maybe this gets traded. Then we got Vegas, Utah, and Vancouver. No trade rumors right now. It doesn't seem like there's much happening, unfortunately. Or at least I haven't heard much. So who other than Malholtra did the Canucks get? They got Adam Novotny, Ryan Rubrick. We can go through it, I guess. Yeah, they got, or not Ryan Rubrick, they got Brooks Rogowski. Yeah, they got Adam Novotny, Brooks Rogowski, Nicholas Aram Olsen. A lot of fun forward swings, that's for sure. Goalie pick is fine, and Ivchenko, I think. So generally, I think the Canucks have done quite well, actually. Alessandro Diorio goes to the Blue Jackets at 94th. Makes sense. Around the range I was projecting that. A weird season for Sarnia this year. Not a great team that he was with. Smart player, but I don't know if he's much more than that. But it makes sense for Columbus. Get some center depth. Could be a 4th line C one day, but I'm not sure about it. But 94th overall, I don't think it's a bad bet necessarily. The movers are still coming. Winnipeg is in a very tough spot. I hope so. I hope so. Give me some trades, man. Let's see it. I'm surprised that Karmanov hasn't been selected, to be honest with you. I thought some team would have been galaxy brained enough to take him at this point. So if Malhotra becomes a star and they fire his dad, how's that dinner night going to be? A little awk. A little awk. But yeah, the best players on my board right now are Adam Valentini, William Lassell. Outside of that, Pantelis is still available. I'm surprised by that. Lars Steiner is still available. Thomas Vandenberg, I'm also surprised is still available. Ryder Federolf, Mikey Burchild, Oliver Mruniks, Kasper Yustafar Carlson, Landon Hathaway as well, Verdi Svensk. Though a lot of these guys are also like, I'm not surprised they're still on the board. Grav, how many players do you think will play in the NHL next year in the NHL? Stenberg, McKenna, I agree. You said a third extra one. I also agree. I think Schmitz could be in the NHL next year. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers, as dumb as it would be in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers rush him in that way. Outside of that, I mean, looking at the top end, by the way, Vegas is still on the clock. Maybe this pick gets traded. But yeah, outside of that, outside of Schmitz, the hard part is that there's so many ends to delay commits. I could see Vigo Bjork, though I don't think that's likely. Maybe Tynan Lawrence, though I don't see it. Command also maybe, but I don't think that should happen. I think it'll be McKenna, Stenberg, and then Schmitz surprises and makes the NHL immediately. That's my prediction. All right, Vegas. They're showing a kid sleeping. That's really funny. Who in this draft plays in the NHL next year? Oh, I guess I answered that there for you, Jeff. Perfect. Jonas Silverton. I'm surprised he hasn't been selected either. He was something that I think... Where did I have him? Did I have him? I think I had him like just outside my top 80. Would have been like in the 90 range. So around this spot, I could see it. Grav, do you have any idea, advice for somebody wanting to do start doing what you do? Darcy, best advice, don't do AI. Not to get into that conversation again. But be authentic. Make what you want to make. That's the big thing. Because if you try to chase trends or anything, you'll just end up regretting it and not wanting to do it. You got to talk about what you want to talk about. But really, the best advice is to start as soon as possible, man. Just start. Like, YouTube is so good for new creators now. Like, I constantly see videos on my recommended that are like 10 views. And it's like, YouTube's giving you the opportunity. You just got to put your heart and mind out there. In terms of actual advice, again, talk about what you want to talk about. Make it feel authentic. Try to make it as exciting as possible. But also, just get a good mic. A good mic can go a long way. I don't even have the best, but if you have the money for like a really good mic, I think that's a huge separator. You don't want to be using like a laptop mic that's so stuffy and everything, because at the end of the day, like if you don't have good audio, it's harder to get people to stick around, just because it's grating on the ears, right? So I think that's a huge component of things. But really, I think at the end of the day, that's all you really need. And try to find a niche if you can. If you can find a niche of what you're interested in, that also can help a lot. The Mammoth got Valentini! Oh, baby! The best player on my board, ranked 38th on my board, goes at number 96. That is a certified steal, ladies and gentlemen. What a pick for the Utah Mammoth. Vegas goes for Sean Burke. Can't say much about him, unfortunately. Adam Valentini, though, I can tell you a lot. Great motor. Fantastic season as a freshman for Michigan. Played in a very small role, but was able to make the most of it. He is something that I think for Utah. I'm surprised they picked him, considering he's a smaller forward. But the energy is there. I think the goal scoring potential is quite nice around the net. I think that's a good fit for Utah that just keeps on stacking forwards. I don't know why they list him as a center. Valentini's not a centerman, but whatever. Just as an energy wing, something that can play on a fourth line, third line, even if he isn't the biggest player in the world. He just has pure determination. And Michigan staff, they loved calling him a rat because he absolutely is out there. And I think for Utah, that is a great pick right there. That is a great pick. That is true, Semcast. I mean, they're also pushing YouTube Shorts a lot, so shorter videos might also be a good play. Experimenting is also the best thing to do when you're just starting out. Dude, that is a stellar pick to end the 3rd round. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? What a pick by the Utah Mammoth, man. That's huge. You got even Bell. Yeah, like what did Utah do? Let's pull up just their team picks right now. So for you, oh, it's just Belchitz and Valentini. I mean, if you got 2 picks to make, why the hell not? That is nice. That is real nice. Oh, baby. Wow. I mean, yeah. Why not? Why not? We're in round 3 right now, Tom. Or I guess now getting into the 4th round. Does Vancouver start at 94, 97? Does that start the 4th round? By the way, they're in a commercial break right now. Let me refresh. Oh, okay. Yaroslav Brizgalov. I like that. I like that for the man. Canucks keep making some really interesting picks. Brizgalov I liked a lot for Medicine Hat this year. Good support player, smart passer, really efficient guy. That's it. That's an intriguing one. I like that. I like that just outside of the, or just inside the top 100, I should say. I like that, man. I like that. At 97, I think the Canucks are doing quite well. They've stacked up the forwards. I'll say that. They've stacked up the forwards. But yeah, big guy and great production of Medicine Hat. Good playoffs as well, which I think could be huge. She was almost a point per game there in the WHL playoffs for the Tigers. I mean, at points, I thought looked better than the Rucks in the playoffs. I'll just say that. I like that value for the Canucks at 97. Or 9. Whatever it was. Yeah. At 97 overall. Oh, we got a trade to announce. The Preds acquire Adam Edstrom and Massimo Rizzo for pick 148 overall. So the Rangers get a extra pick in this class, interestingly. Preds get a couple of depth moves. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. All right, y'all. All right. Look, just recapping what we've seen already. This has been a really intriguing day, too. Unfortunately, the trades haven't happened, which I'm so disappointed by. But generally, some pretty solid picks here. Right after this stream, I'm going to get through my grades for every single team. Also going to be recording the steals of this draft. So if you guys haven't already hit that subscribe button, make sure you do so. Derek Chudzinski did get picked. I think he was 82 to the Ducks. But yeah, a lot more content to come on the channel. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well so you guys get notified when those videos go live. Tyson, I just talked about Brizgalov like a 30 seconds ago if you want to scroll back in the vid. Yeah, I think he could be an interesting support playmaker there for Vancouver. Went to a Passing Tigers game during the playoffs this year. Brizgalov scored a nice one when I was there. There you go, Chase. There you go. Yeah, I thought you had a really solid playoffs. And another one that I'm kind of surprised was available here at number 97. Jonas Kemps goes to Florida at 98. All right, we're going to go until pick 100 here at the Calgary Flames. Then I'm going to head off here to record all my stuff for this NHL draft. And again, we're going to be grading every single team's entire draft class in a video later today. So you do not want to miss that. That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one, ladies and gentlemen. We got Seattle and Calgary to finish off the top 100. Hey, Wheel of Time, I appreciate it. Thank you, dog. I'm not, and I am a Stoked Wings fan. Bunch of whiners. I mean, Victor Plant is quite nice, I think. That's quite nice, at least. Even if everything else is going wrong. Start a Darsh Wake Up chant. Victor Fedorov. Okay, Seattle. Okay. Victor Fedorov, one that I struggle to get a projection on, but has just so much to like in terms of his decision making, his skill. Played mostly in the MHL, but or played mostly in the VHL this year with a good amount in the MHL and KHL as well. I just with the size factor, I'm not sure if he's an NHLer, but an intriguing bet at this point in the draft, that's for sure. And now the Flames are on the clock for pick 100. What do you got for us, Calgary? What do you got for us? We'll see here. But again, a lot to come later tonight. I'm especially excited for the steals video because we got a couple interesting options. Though I will say, not a ton that is like a massive, unbelievable. Like Valentini is an exception, but outside of that, not many that are really, really shocking to me so far. But we shall see. Calgary at 100. What do you got for us? Igor Barabanov. Okay. I like that pick actually quite a bit. I like that quite a bit for the Flames. Barabanov is an enticing player. A double overager in the OHL, but I liked his game a ton for Saginaw this year. I thought he was a main driver for that team. Klepov got a lot of attention, but I think Barabanov was excellent as well. 91 points in 68 OHL games this year. He is 20, so you got to take that into account, or I guess turned 20 this last May. But I think that is a really interesting one. He is just a constantly moving guy. Loves to, similarly to Klepov, those two just love to make sense of the open space and just weaponize it. Barabanov could be a pretty lethal player. I don't think he's a boomer bust guy. You're either not going to hear about him again, or he could be a potential middle six guy. But at number 100, I will take that for the Flames. I like that quite a bit. I like that quite a bit for them. We still got 1,000 in this live stream. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the 2026 NHL Draft Live, presented by PrizePicks. It's been one heck of a time with all you guys. And the draft has gone in a lot of wacky directions so far. The goaltenders haven't been as plentiful recently, but still. Craig with the $2 donation. How many Medicine Hat Tigers been selected so far? The Rucks.
How many Medicine
Brizgalov.
Hat Tigers been selected so far?
4? I know Carter Casey is also still on the board, Craig. I'm guessing 4, but I could be wrong there. Still, you'll let me know, I'm sure, Craig. You'll let me know. But thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate all you guys. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't hit that like button on the stream, make sure you do so. And again, hit that notification bell because we'll have 2 videos later tonight, grading every team and then going for the biggest steals of the draft class. But the top 100 picks are over. I'll give a slight scroll as we go through every single one. Just to update you guys, we'll start from 100 and then work our way down with the draft order. As Gavin McKenna starts things out for the later first round, things got super interesting, man. Then the second round, I thought it started off really enticing. A lot of good talent to be had. And I'm thankful that guys like Preston and Villeneuve didn't fall further than they did. And then the third round, where things just kind of got off the rails for me. A few really interesting picks, but a lot of, I think, pretty big swings. And we'll see how many misses there are. But yeah, in the fourth round, I think starting out actually pretty well with Brizgalov, Fedorov, and then Barabanov. I like those picks quite a bit for each team involved. But that is the top 100 review, and that was my thoughts on the draft order so far. A lot more to come, and we'll get into more detail, of course, in my later videos today. But thank you so much to everybody coming in here today. You guys have been awesome, fantastic, and just so much fun to talk to. Yet again, thank you for all the support on the stream yesterday and for today and this morning, coming through. You guys are the real hockey fans. Coming through this early in the morning, my man's an absolute GOAT. My man's an absolute GOAT. But thank you guys so much for coming in, each and every single one of you guys. And I will see you guys for the videos later today. Have a great one, y'all, and goodbye.